morning, sports fans, and welcome to the Defining Moment brought to you by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. This is me, your boy Larry, bringing it to you here on a beautiful Tuesday morning. It is Tuesday, June 18th, 2019, and we're just rolling along here in the summer. That's right, just trucking along with plenty of great sports to get into today and loving every bit of it. Well, first things first, there's this tournament going on right now in France. Some of you may know it as the Women's World Cup. Really excited for that. What an incredible start we've had so far. USA doing big things. Sweden and USA going to be quite the battle coming up here. And just so many great performances from many teams. Really looking forward to getting into this topic today and talking plenty about the matchups in the knockout round when we get there. Guess I think a day more to go, so we'll get into that. Also, the Copa America, great event. I love watching this. So many great teams together, some that I've never even seen in the Copa America. So, really excited for that. Excuse me. And really excited to see what we got coming up in the Copa America, as well as the CONCACAF Gold Cup. That's right, Mexico starts out with a bang. USA actually gets underway today, I believe so. So we'll talk about that and talk about their chances. Let's hope they're good. And I just got to tell you right now, men's team, hey, the women are getting down doing their thing. How about y'all? Just saying. Anyway, with that said, we got lots to get into as well. Aside from all of the soccer cups this summer, we have, of course, the boys of summer, College World Series. Plenty to get into there. Michigan is just chugging along. So many great teams in this thing. I mean, it's hard to even pick a winner or try to predict one. So this is going to be quite the interesting tournament the rest of the way. It was from the very beginning, and I know it's going to be the rest of the way. Also, National Pro Fast Pitch. They're about 3 weeks into their season, so we'll talk about the ladies of Fast Pitch. MLB, we'll be talking some MLB with one of our newest members of IE Sports Radio, Mr. Taryn Rodriguez of Bases Loaded. That's right, y'all. Bases Loaded has returned tonight. We'll talk about that as well. Also, we'll be talking some WNBA, some NWSL, and some MLS. As I mentioned, yes, I know, I said I was done with the soccer, but there's still some more in there. Also, some MLR, Major League Rugby. It's their second year coming down to the end of the season here, so we're talking that. The IMSA LeMans24, another great race in the books, 24 hours of drive. We'll talk about who won that race in what category. Also, NASCAR, Formula One, IndyCar, and NHRA news. Fury versus Schwartz and why the heavyweight division is possibly revamped. And also, we will be getting on in to some WNBA, some Stanley Cup. I have one of the most awesome interviews ever with Mr. Ash Gibbs. You have to hear this. This is a must-hear coming up towards the middle of the show. And, of course, I talk NBA with Mr. Kylam Reynolds coming up in just a few moments. Ladies and gentlemen, you are now tuned in live to the Defining Moment right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Welcome, sports fans. My gosh, what an incredible summer we've got going on so far. I'm loving every bit of it, and you know what? I'm so darn excited to know where we've come, with this summer of sports. I mean, my gosh, it has been something. Last week, we had two teams, first time ever, just a day after each other, one on Wednesday, one on Thursday, winning their first ever titles. I mean, so excited for that, for the St. Louis Blues and the Toronto Raptors. And as I mentioned, of course, College World Series is just getting going right now. We have plenty to talk about in the world of auto sports. We are also going to be getting into, as I mentioned, one of the most awesome interviews I've ever had coming up. It's an hour long, so you really want to check that out. Coming up later on today in today's show with Mr. Ash Gibbs. I mean, seriously, this is as genuine as a story as you can get. I mean, I'm so glad that this story could be on IE Sports Radio. I thank God that I was able to talk to this guy on Twitter. So This is going to be one of the big headlines of the show, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Ash Gibbs, the Canadian Blues fan, and just what an experience he and his family had with this Stanley Cup, how significant it was to his family, how significant it is to, of course, to Blues fans everywhere. But I feel like we have ourselves an incredible story to get into today. So like I said, I'm going to make a big thing of it in the very beginning of it. Please, it is a must listen. You must listen to this segment. Like I said, it's an hour long, but hearing just the years that he's had to struggle with his team, how the Blues actually flew, he flew him and his daughter out there, but the Blues gave them tickets, okay, like through Twitter, because people, like even former players, were trying to get this guy out there because he's been such a lifetime Blues fan, and his daughter actually got to skate on the ice with the Blues in Game 4. I mean, you can't script this stuff. And then the way they won the Stanley Cup too, also going into Game 7, going into Boston, the place where they lost 49 years ago to the same exact team that they were beat by 49 years ago, to avenge that loss 49 years later and to win their first ever Stanley Cup ever in franchise history on the ice of the team that beat them the first and only, the last time that they were there 49 years ago. You can't script this stuff. I'm telling you, it's such an incredible interview. So once again, big shout out to Mr. Ash Gibbs if you're tuning in. The interview is on its way, sir. But great stuff there, and as I mentioned, so much to get into, so many soccer cups, and just lots of awesome stuff there. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and start things off, though. As I always say, all glory to God. Without God, we are nothing, y'all. I mean, God is so great. Please, praise Him, y'all. Praise Him. I'm so happy to be here for another day. So happy with all He's blessed me with and all that He's given us. Every day, y'all, and I mean, there's not enough thanks and praise you can give, to our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. As a matter of fact, I just want to, real fast, I just want to read, because today, I mean, I always get the little YouVersion Bible, verses to my phone, but today I just want to read this one real quick. It's John 15:7. If you remain in me, and my words remain in you, ask for whatever you want, and it will be done for you. Ladies and gentlemen, that's an applause. I mean, that's two applause at the same exact time. Ladies and gentlemen, that's absolutely right. Remain. Keep your faith in God. Don't lose it no matter what happens, no matter how tough the road gets, no matter what this may blindside you. God's got your back. He's got great people around you. He of course has got your back. Pray to Him, y'all. Trust me. Tough times are inevitable for everybody, and great times are inevitable as well. But how do we keep those great times? Well, it's very simple. Trust God, believe in His plan, and you can't go wrong. So I just wanted to say that, y'all, from the bottom of my heart. God bless you all. And I mean, not the easiest times for me at the moment, but I got to tell you right now, there's so many blessings at the same exact time. There's so many things that are, just kind of unfortunate, but at the same exact time, ladies and gentlemen, God's glory just overshines all. So I'm so excited to sit here and tell you today that, hey, I'm here for another day. I'm so excited, and no matter what may have happened or the past may be, if you're going through a tough time right now, praise God. If you're going through a great time right now, praise God. No matter what, praise God. So that's all I got to say, y'all. Well, that's what I got to tell you for today. So I know we got a little biblical there, but hey, that's all there is to it. This is my show. I love it. I love God. And you know what? I mean, I love God. I love the show. I love all of y'all and all my colleagues. And I just wanted to share that with you this morning because no matter what, y'all, God is great. And we just trust me. Keep him number one. Once again, if you remain in me and my words remain in you, ask for whatever you want and it will be done for you. John 15:7. That is as true as it gets, y'all. So with that said, welcoming in another man of God here who is absolutely, the man preaches. I mean, what could I say? I could learn many things from this guy, y'all. So he's without a doubt one of the biggest, basketball fans out there, one of the biggest Saints fans out there. Did I just let that one, did I just give y'all did I just spoil the surprise? Well, he is here to talk some basketball with us, and I'm just so excited to have him here, y'all. Ladies and gentlemen, welcoming the Fat Mac himself. Faith and trials make a Christian. Loving hearts and helping hands make the world a better place. Hopefully I didn't butcher that, but he'll fix it for me. Coming up, I know at least maybe right now or at the end of the segment, ladies and gentlemen, he is absolutely, such a huge part of IE Sports Radio, as all of my colleagues are. And I'm so happy to have him here today, or this morning, to talk some basketball and about those NBA Finals. Ladies and gentlemen, welcoming the one, the only, Mr. Colin Reynolds. What's going on, Colin? How you doing this morning, brother?
Hey, what's going on, man? All glory to God, man. That's a great introduction you had on today, man. Also, man, I felt it, man. And, man, I tell you all the time, bro, we nothing without the man above. And it's another great day on top of the dirt not on top of me. It's also a blessed day to talk some great sports.
You're absolutely right, and as I mentioned, I had to turn up Colin. He was actually down a little bit there on my volume, but absolutely, man, all glory to God, and it's so true. I'm telling you, Colin knows, man. Colin is living proof. We're all living proof. This morning, if you woke up this morning and listening to this podcast, you are living proof that God is great. I mean, am I right, Colin? Yes, sir.
And an opportunity to make the change that what you didn't do on yesterday, man.
Absolutely, man, and that really hits me hard, man. Trust me, just by you saying that right now, so it's true. So, with that said, let's do it, man. You're right. Another opportunity to talk some sports. I'm so excited for this, man. This is just what a great thing, man. Like, what an incredible of a turn of events last week. We had the Stanley Cup champions, of course, the St. Louis Blues, winning their first ever Stanley Cup. And the day after, the Toronto Raptors get it done. They could have got it done in 5, but hey, it's all right. They won on the road. They won in the toughest place to play, the Oracle, or one of the toughest places to play, the Oracle. And my gosh, what an incredible journey this was. Last Monday, Colin, we were on the show. We were talking about, that was the Monday night. And you know what, man? It didn't happen. The Warriors pulled this thing off. It was a tough game. But, I even listened. I didn't get to watch the game, but listening to Miss Caitlin Seam on Thursday, she was pretty upset that, I don't know who it was, but they went for 3 when it could have just been a layup or a 2-pointer or something like that. But they ended up losing the game by 1 point. But they get it done on Thursday night, winning this thing in 6 games. What a turn of events for a team who has never done it. First time ever being in the NBA Finals, and it's their first ever NBA Finals championship. Now we're sitting here talking about Anthony Davis going on over to LA. We're talking about Kawhi. Who knows where he's going to go? That people are trying to get him to stay in Toronto. He's talking about maybe the Clippers. I saw ESPN up there earlier this morning saying the Lakers aren't even in the mix yet, or even in the mix. It's the Clippers right now, or the Raptors. People are trying to keep him in Toronto. I mean, I'm just telling you, man, it's crazy what's going on and how things just happen so quick and everything. But Kyle, come on, man. First things first, how about those Raptors, man? Go ahead and give us every raw emotion, every thought you had throughout last time we talked was games 5 and 6. Go ahead, man. Let us know how you felt on Monday night after the Warriors defeated the Raptors, and then, of course, on Thursday night. Did you know the Raptors had it all along, man, or did you think that somewhere in there, even though the Warriors were pretty injury-prone, especially in that game 6, I mean, come on, man. Do you feel that was pretty inevitable for the Raptors to pull this thing off?
Well, first, let me start off by saying this, Larry. I'm going to just go all the way through. Want to give kudos and props to the Warriors for another great season, 5 years in a row. Definitely, it comes from within the locker room and in the front office. They have built a championship mentality. But going to Game 5, I said, man, Kawhi came alive a little bit in Game 5 in the last 2 minutes. And I said, you got to get defensive. They have to stay on clean. Steph has been like 1 for a million in clutch shots. I understand that he's 40% from 3, but just stay on clean at the hand. Game 5, and Warriors just, they just gusty. They found a way to win. No emotion was stronger than when Kyle Howard passed the ball out of bounds and Kawhi shot the shot, a bad ill-advised shot, and then also Nick Nurse. I don't fault him for that timeout. He knew his team was right there, and he wanted to just kind of regroup their mentality. But when you have the Warriors on the ropes, you kind of got to go with the momentum. And I think he'll call that timeout in any time of game, which he did in Game 6. But the Warriors finished out strong in that game, hold them off, clear a big shot, win the game. in Game 6. I mean, after you find out Durant goes down, toward Achilles, like, oh, man, you feel sorry for the guy, pending free agency. Now, players are thinking about more players instead of in the actual championship. But the game must go on. And, I mean, I feel that Toronto knew that they had to beat Game 6. They already had 1-2. So they wasn't rattled about the fact they was going back to Oracle. Now, emotions were driven high. Last game ever to be at the historical Oracle Arena in the Bay Area. And Golden State Police wanted to win for their fans one last time. So emotions were high just on the KD injury and the raw emotions for the stadium. But coming into this game, as you saw, Kyle Lowry, the guy that scored 0 points in the first game of the playoffs, 0 points, and they ate him up. You're a superstar. You're an all-star. How you going to do this? How are the Raptors going to be his team to beat him? He went out and said, well, let me set the tone. I think it was 17 points, 15 or 17 points the first quarter. Came out, not with a vengeance, but he came out with a mentality that if I can start the train, Kawhi can finish it. And in between, we'll help each other out. And it was a great mentality. I mean, the Warriors are punching them. Clay hitting some shots. Big shots in the second quarter. Steph making some great playmaking, some great passes from doing great playmaking. And you saw Looney crying there that showed that he tried. And then you see Clay goes down. And now, like, the air is sucked out the building. He comes back into 2 free throws. And everybody's like, oh, what's going on? Clay goes in the back. Now, at this point, Quinn Cook hits a big shot on the baseline. No, not a base. Yeah, on the wing, the side out. Hit a big three-pointer. They're trading punches. Now, let's pause right there, Larry. At this point, this is the third quarter of the game. Get ready to go to the fourth quarter. And the defensive intensity was through the roof. As you know, they were trading punches. Toronto would not lay down. They would hit. Golden State was down like 11 or 12 points, 10 fighting back, and they will not lay down. Now I'm like, okay, going into this fourth quarter, what adjustments will Nick Nurse make? Because now Kawhi is fatigued. Kawhi has 4. Kyle Lowry has 4. I think Ibaka and Gasol all had 4 in midway through the fourth quarter. So I'm thinking to myself, like, oh my God, here we go again. No Clay, no KD. Chef Curry with the shot boy is about to put the dagger to them. Now, my hopes and wishes for the Raptors to win this thing and to put that Toronto on the map, to the country of Canada on the map, but to knock on Golden State. That's all I wanted. I'm not selfish when it comes to that, but I wanted them to lose. And I'm like, oh my God, no, here we go. So now they go up. I'm like, oh no. Nick Nurse called the timeout. I don't know what the heck did Nick Nurse say. I don't know what Coach Handy said. I don't know what Kyle Lowry said, whoever, Kawhi, whoever. But somebody said something that and it took back. And let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. Fred Van Fleet. Oh my God, this guy is undrafted bench warming. Fred Van Fleet the last 2 years. This year he has grown to be a key component of this Raptors team. I'm not talking about somebody that's giving you a splash. He did not give you a sprinkle, but he gave you a splash in these playoffs and these finals. He took it up to the level in the fourth quarter. He said, well, look, Kawhi is tired. They all get Kawhi. Mark, they hit me. Kyle Lowry, they hit me. And he just hit some big shots. I'm talking about some daggers. And when he got down to 3 minutes later, I said, they're going to lose this one. They're not going to lose this one. And look, Steph went down there, hit a big shot. And I said, man, what's going to happen? Iguodala ties it up. I'm like, oh, my God. What's going on now? And then after that, man, foul at the end. Kawhi hit some free throws. Raptors are the champion. Shout out to Toronto. Shout out to Canada. Shout out to Drake and all those guys. But I want to shout out to the Toronto Raptors and also to Kyle Lowry. I mean, not just because of LeBron, but he's been fighting 13 years in the league, man. From a journeyman to now to an all-star, going and fight with DeRozan, and he kept a shot, and Kawhi got over the home. And like Steph said, man, it was just not their year. Boogie was exciting. I'm sorry for Boogie, but he should have stayed in the Big Easy. Boogie probably should have stayed in the Big Easy And the Lakers, all Lakers fans listening, sorry, Larry, all Lakers fans listening, they should send Boogie Cousins a gift because when a Boogie does not leave New Orleans, AD does not leave, gets traded to the Lakers. Just want to let you guys know that. And to the Warriors, man, y'all keep fighting. Kevin Durant will be out for next season. Prayers up front. We pray for a speedy recovery. Take your rehabilitation real slowly, man. Clean same way, man. Don't rush back from February. Don't rush back from March. Just get ready for the playoffs. Because with Steph Curry, Draymond Green, and Robert, Steve Kerr, Symbols, Bob Myers, and Simmons, they will be back in the playoffs next year. So, man, get yourself healthy. Get ready for the playoff run. But, Larry, these NBA finals have taught not just me, I'm pretty sure not just you, but every basketball fan that this Big Three era is not what you think it has to be. Kawhi is the only real superstar. Kyle Lowry was the all-star, and you had stars, people that knows their role, that can come off the bench and do what they do and sit down, not worry about if they play 20, 15, 30 minutes, but just to go there and make a step on the game, and they come in and let somebody else do their job. And they showed us. Not just injury was a key component, but because of the Golden State, they was not at the full power. But, man, it tells us that it's a team game. It's not about one person. Everybody else has to step up and do their job. We talk about it all the time there on 3 now. We talk about it on now, on the defining moment, that this is a team sports. It means next man up. So shout out to the Raptors. Shout out to the Warriors. Hey, let's do it.
The applause button was hit numerous times during that, Colin. I just want to tell you that right now, man. I mean, my gosh, you're absolutely right, man. I mean, the Warriors have nothing to hang their heads on. Yes, they lost, but so what, man? They're a great team. We talked about it last week, Colin. I think you're the one who brought it up, who got me saying this, but they did it right. They've been doing it right. They have, They've built through the draft. They've only acquired one player on the outside, which is Kevin Durant. I don't know if it was either you or Mr. Chris Blackie a couple weeks ago who said it, but it's true. The only person they really just kind of got, acquired through trade. I forgot what free agency. However, Durant got there. All I know is, look, man, they got there and we're good. I mean, he got there and they're good to go. Everything else they built through the draft, they had to fight, man. 31 years of silence, man. It's 1975 was the last time. 2016, they get it done, and they've been in the finals ever since. You know what, man? If you're a absolute, like, I don't want to call. I'm not saying call nobody names though. I'm just saying you may not know your sports too well if you can't give the Warriors some kind of applause. Love them or hate them, okay?
Oh man, you gotta give credit where it's due. Now, I mean, it's not just about the draft. See, you can build teams through the draft. You can build it through creation. But to have the same mentality, the same effort year in and year out, to not to get complacent. That's the word. Not to get complacent and comfortable, but to always strive for the top. And that's what makes sports so great, Larry. And I'm not a Warriors hater. Everybody say, oh, you want the Warriors to lose, LeBron. I'm not a Warriors hater. I'm just a fan of my team. I'm a fan of my players. But I know sports, and I know greatness when I see it. And it's a great organization, and I give them all props.
I'm right there with you, man. I mean, really, it's just a great organization. Absolutely, they're not going anywhere. I don't think. I mean, you're right. Kevin Durant can come back next year. Get some time for the playoffs. They have a great team already. This is a great team, man. They can definitely get back there. But right now, it was the Raptors' time to shine. And yeah, I mean, can we just get one more applause for Kyle Lowry, man? This guy is unreal, man. The longest tenured Raptor right now on the active roster, and I mean, my gosh, man, he's stuck with it. He was with the good, the bad, and the ugly, and you know what? He stayed. He is so dedicated to one team. This man just deserves, you want a loyal man, there you go, man. He's about as loyal as it gets, a loyal player, loyal to his city. He was not trying to go anywhere else. I'm sure the opportunity maybe presented itself here and there, but he was not going to leave. He had a job to do. He had a mission to accomplish, and look at this, man. He stayed there. He played. He balled out. They got the pieces around him. Kawhi Leonard was an MVP a couple years back, about 5 years ago, I want to say. in the when the Spurs won the NBA Finals. I think that was the Miami Heat when LeBron was still there. But still, man, he's a champion. He knows how to be a champion. He went elsewhere, and he got it done, with this great team around him, man. I mean, you can't say enough positive things about the Raptors. I can't even name all the players, man. I gotta get more into basketball. But I gotta tell you right now, this is just a great, great, great moment for this team and this city. And by the way, y'all, Colin is over here just tagging me in all kinds of things today, but I'm with it. And you know what? It's funny because it's actually a video. It's the House of Highlights, and I'm watching it right now. It's a Lakers fan. This is pretty funny. He has AD to the Lakers. He's holding it up, and Colin, you just tagged me in this. This is kind of funny, spur of the moment thing, but really, how do you feel about that topic, Colin?
Well, hey man, it's great for me. I was out with the men's ministry in my church on Saturday. We had a boys and men bowling, brotherhood bowling thing on Saturday. And as we bowled, the bowling alleys had the big TVs and the music playing. And my phone, it wasn't my turn. I was looking down on my phone, checking Instagram, and my phone flashed and the TV flashed. At the same time, everybody in the bowling alley, look at my phone. AD to the Lakers. I'm like, oh my God, yeah. Everybody there like, boo. I'm like, yeah. So one of the guys come over, me, I'm animated, lad. I'm real animated when it comes to my sports. And I'm like, dude, this is great. He's like, no, it's like our best player ever. We about to get Zion, but this is our best player ever. I'm like, no, listen, we get these pieces here to do this and to do that, but it's a great trade. He's like, how is it a great trade? I'm like, dude, I'm a Pelicans fan and I'm a LeBron fan. LeBron gets his man, Lakers get better, Pelicans get better. We drop Zion. We dropped everything else, and we get the fourth pick. We get money for free agency. So New Orleans Pelicans going to be back on the map, trying to put this on the map. The Lakers will be back in contenders. I mean, this is going to be great, man. I'm excited. I hope AD trades raise his trade tickets. Those $4 million, people do not understand. Those $4 million they want AD to trade is big to him, but it's also big to the evolution of the Lakers because of free agency. They can go down from $32 million to $27 million if the trade goes through on July 6th. But if he's an exception trade kicker, that 27 goes down to $32 million. And this NBA, Larry, to get quality pieces, everybody's not taking that veteran minimum, Larry. So the Lakers may not be able to get another star unless they do some negotiating and some begging. But if not, they're trying to get a couple of key pieces to go around LeBron and AD. That's a great start. But let me tell you something about here in Nola. Listeners, followers, listeners, listen. Come to New Orleans, smaller market, but bigger party. And you heard I said, yes, I know you're in L.A., but smaller market, bigger party here in Nola. And LeVar Ball will not be on the sideline like he once was. Lonzo will be able to pass and defend like Lonzo was doing at UCLA. Alvin Gentry will have him running and gunning. Josh Hart will be the glue off the bench. And then that fourth pick, what we flipping for? David Griffin got the gumbo working in New Orleans, baby. The gumbo has went from the Saints all the way to the Pelicans. They say gumbo gets good in the winter, but it's even better in the summer. We eat gumbo year round. It doesn't matter. And now we got a little Pelican gumbo going. And the New Orleans Pelicans are on the rise. They're going to soar high. So, man, AD to LA was a great trade, man.
Man, well, you know what, man? That gets motivated the crap out of me. I am so excited for what we've got here, man. I mean, it is just something else. What we got going on in LA over here. I mean, I am so excited to see. I mean, LeBron, AD together. I mean, AD together. How incredible would this be? I'm just such a. I'm grateful. I'm hoping that everything, works out. But yeah, man, if that happens, Lakers are certainly going to be looking pretty good. coming up. But hey, I'm not going to count my chickens before they hatch. We're not going to count chickens before they hatch. We're going to see what happens. But yeah, man, I'm so excited to see this season going on. And yeah, man, if it all works out. So real quick, Colin, I mean, I've kind of been a little bit out of the loop. So, okay, was it made official already? Or what is it basically it's going to happen?
All right, the trade was agreed upon. Like, you basically had like a in writing or in handshake deals. The new year starts it starts on the 30th. So what happened is all trades can be completed after that. So on the 6th is when they're trying to officiate. That's when the Pelicans like to start the trade complete the trade because of the fact of the cap space. The Pelicans have to also reconstruct some moves so they can fill in their roster, the draft picks, and all that good stuff. The Lakers like to wait till the 30th because they give them more room in the cap space. We'll give them up to $32 million. Minus the $4 million will put you at like 28 million. But the expedited is going to help the Pelicans or whoever they traded number 4 pick to, because that number 4 pick still has to be signed before it can go to summer league. I don't know if you remember the Andrew Wiggins situation when LeBron went back to Cleveland. Andrew Wiggins played summer league for the Cavaliers, even though the deal was agreed to him to trade for Kevin Love. So his agent took out an insurance policy on him in case he gets hurt, that he still will get paid. So that's the same thing going with now. Okay, the draft is Thursday. If the trade doesn't go back through to July 30th, some of these starts take a week before that. So they want to get everything finalized, get the numbers decided that what's going to have cap space, so that when they draft these players, they go ahead and sign these players, and they can get into summer league.
Man, this is crazy. This is so crazy. But hey, man, so I'm just ready to rock and roll. Like, oh my gosh, basketball season just ended, but I already can't wait for it to start again. I mean, this is just gonna be great. I mean, oh my gosh, the Lakers redemption. I mean, what a tough year. LeBron misses his first time in how many years was that, Colin?
Oh, first time in 13 years now.
First time in 13 years, man. LeBron James missing the playoffs with one of the most historic franchises in the NBA, in all of sports. I mean, that's a tough pill to swallow for the fans, for sure. But it's tough no matter what for everybody. And I just got to tell you, Colin, I'm so dang excited if we can get back up there. I know people are probably going to be talking and being, oh, well, they're just like the Yankees getting all these players, whatever. They got that money, whatever. Hey, man, end of the day, you know what, man, however you win, do what you got to do, So I feel that right now, the Lakers, we're in a pretty good position after a tough season last year. But LeBron, he seems like he wants to get this done here. He seems dedicated and driven, as he always is, man. I mean, he definitely is the greatest player of this era and the greatest player in the world right now. And I'll tell you what, man, there's nothing's gonna stop this guy from giving everything. I mean, who knows? I would love to see a championship in LA, but I'm telling you, as a diehard Lakers fan, if it doesn't happen, it's not LeBron's fault. He gave everything he could, but I do feel that it's going to happen because LeBron is going to give every bit of him. So no matter what, it's never an issue of a great player giving their all, because they're always going to give their all. But unfortunately, sometimes things just, this is not how it goes, but I do feel like it's very possible, and I do feel like, yeah, man, AB going to the Lakers, I mean, this is just incredible. We have ourselves a very great opportunity, and I'm so excited for it. So, yeah, Colin, so this has just been such a great season, man, of basketball. So, real quick, man, go ahead and just kind of give us your thoughts on the season as a whole, man. If you want to, go around the league, talk about some teams you're excited for next year, some teams that surprised you this year. I mean, go ahead, man, the floor is yours.
All right. Well, this season, man, starting from the beginning to the end, man. I love the rookie play this year. My boy Trey Young. I'm talking about the Oklahoma. Dude is like they call him mini stuff, but I call him Big Trey. I don't want to call anybody a mini nobody because of you working in the shadow. You look up to another player. I call him Big Trey because he hits a big shot at a small size, a small frame, but he has a heart of a giant, man. And Luka Doncic, man. Remember I told you about this guy coming into last year? I was like, man, this dude is going to put a stamp on the league. And he's physical, man. He has the IQ. He's great, man. And who's better to pass the torch to take on the reins in Dallas after Dirk walked off, man. And guy is great, man. I like those two rookies this year. Sacramento, I mean, team that, they didn't win the playoffs, but, hey, De'Aaron Fox, man, dude is a guard that is on the rise, man. De'Aaron Fox, I see a Westbrook with a shot. With a not clutch, but with a consistent shot. I mean, he's always going to get better. He's always going to get stronger. I like De'Aaron Fox. Sacramento is a team that is real gutsy. It's similar to Denver in a way. Just freestyling in Denver. I felt that they should have been better. I think that them implementing Isaiah Thomas back into the lineup slowed down that guard play a little bit. Jerry Harris and your boy, what's his name? Jamal Murray.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Allen, Jamal Murray. These guys are two young, dynamic backcourt, and it's going to be great for years to come. The Joker, come on. Who doesn't like Nikola Jokic? I mean, this dude can do everything. He can pass the ball. He can rebound the ball. He can shoot the ball. He can dunk the ball. He can call out plays. He can dribble the ball. I mean, he's great, man. He's a real deal, man, and I like him. I like him a lot. It's crazy how good the West is going to be again next year, man. And Portland. Larry, don't they remind you of the Eastern Conference Raptors? Nope, they don't, because the Raptors are champions now. But when I say they remind you of the Raptors, because they always get there. And we can't get over the hump and just get, swallowed up. Last year the Pelicans swept them. This year they won the first round in a dynamic fashion, and then they just went back down. The big man broke his leg, in the end of the season, but in his cancer, he stepped up. Dame Leonard, he needs another man. I think P.J. McCollum is a good shooter, great passer, but I think we need one more piece to kind of try to get him to that place of destiny. I've been reading over the year how Boston has sell off. I mean, just think about it. Team with no Kyrie, team with no Gordon Hayward goes 7 games in the Eastern Conference Finals against King James. I don't understand how you add 20 to 25 points a game, and Gordon Hayward was making $30 million at the end of the bench in crunch time. I just don't get it. I told somebody one time, it's not that you don't play the player because the player doesn't have the talent. You don't put certain players in certain situations. You don't put them in situations not to succeed. Gordon Hayward is not the focal point of any team. He's a team player. Put Gordon Hayward with Donovan Mitchell and whoever it was in Utah. Utah would have been much better, but he wanted the money. He wanted to play with a story franchise. I mean, you have Jaylen Brown, you have Tatum, you have Kyrie. There's too many ball-dominant players, and they wanted AD, but it wouldn't work without Kyrie. You just say you trade Tatum. You had AD, Jaylen Brown, and you had maybe Aaron Bynes or something. What the hell is going to happen in Boston? Nothing. So I think Danny Ainge needs to try to convince Kyrie to come back or something, because Boston has been there. Isaiah Thomas was there, and they played on Isaiah Thomas. Yeah, we know he got hurt and everything, but I don't know if it's a curse on Isaiah or what. But that team with Gordon Hayward right now lead the helm. I think we need to do a slight rebuild, a reshaking up with Tatum. Because of the fact of the matter is that I think that going forward, that this franchise needs some more reshaping going forward. Now, what team you said was really intriguing. 2 teams in the Eastern Conference. Yes, I got to go with the 1 and 3. Milwaukee and Philly. Philly will be back. Embiid will be back. I mean, if Jimmy opt out and don't resign, Philly will be back. But I'm scared about Milwaukee because they're going to be cap tight. Not next year, the year after. And this team is too good to be disappointed the way they were. I mean, they traded for Nikola Mirotic from the Pelicans. guy played 6 minutes, game 5, 6, or something like that. No way possible you're going to win like that. It's not stretching the floor against the Raptors. That was nuts. I mean, and then with 76 and Ben Simmons. I tell you this all year, Larry. I've been telling my friends this all year. If this guy just gets a free throw line jumper, oh my God, his game will be totally different. Totally different. The 3-point is not mandatory for this guy. He's quick. He's big. He's fast. He can handle. If he gets a free throw line jumper, then Ben Simmons and Philly will be the next level. Just looking at some teams, man. I gotta give a shout out to Dwayne Wade, Miami Heat, retired in this fashion, the one last dad. Miami will be, do some rebuilding, but just want to give a shout out to the great Dwayne Wade. I know the Knicks are capped. They have two. They're not capped. They have 2 max slots, Larry. This is something we need to bring up. I heard Stephen A. talking about it, Max Kellerman talking about it yesterday on Full First Take, which is real intriguing to me because if Kevin Durant opts in and takes the $31 million from the Warriors, and Clay re-ups with the Warriors, Kyrie doesn't go to the Lakers. Doesn't go to the Knicks. Knicks have traded away Porzingis. They'll trade away assets. All they have is the 3rd pick and 2 free slots, max slots. Now, you have in Brooklyn, not New Jersey Nets, but the Brooklyn Nets, you have restricted free agent in D'Angelo Russell. You have a couple players that can opt out of their player option, but can opt in or get new contracts. Brooklyn made the playoffs, number 16, if you don't remember. If Brooklyn gets Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant or Kyrie and another solid piece, the market in New York will no longer belong to the Knicks. It will belong to the Brooklyn Nets. And Stephen A. Smith, a long time Knicks fan, only team he ever loved, and said it so. If Brooklyn can make a splash of free agency, the potential will no longer be on Knicks in New York. It will no longer be on Knicks in New York. So that is something that us NBA fans need to watch and pay attention to. And Larry, I know time is so far spent, man. I can go on and on and on, but I want to talk about one more thing, and I'm going to let you go. Houston. Bumping heads in Houston. Now it's coming out since the finals are over, whatever, that Tony wasn't going to get read up. They said he's going to play out, he's going to coach out his final year contract. Now they say he's going to, now he's negotiating again. They was at the final stage. We haven't heard anything else about that. This week, Chris Paul wants out. Chris Paul wants in. Him and James Harden beefing off battling each other going off the court at the last loss of the year. Now 2 alpha males. Didn't you know that? Didn't you know that when you traded for him? Didn't you know that when he came from the Clippers? Didn't you know he was an alpha male? Now you capped with $40 million for the next 3 years of Chris Paul, a declining Chris Paul. Still great. See the declining Chris Paul. I want to see why Houston is trying to get something to run it back one more time. I mean, he went down for pieces. People Tucker, Gerald Green, Austin Rivers. They got some pieces, man. So just run it back. But Larry, let me tell you something. I don't care about none of the other 28. I care about the Lakers show, and I care about my New Orleans Pelicans. Let's go.
I'm so with it. Like, seriously, I am so with it. Like, this is going to be such a great season. I mean, coming up already. It was a great season just passed. Every season's great, man. Some seasons are great for some teams. Some seasons aren't so great for some teams. I mean, really, it's going to be so cool to see all this stuff going on and everything. So, and what a great season. So I will put a lid on the 2018/2019 NBA season. The Raptors. One more applause, y'all. Have done it. First ever NBA title in franchise history, in their first ever time being at the NBA Finals in franchise history. Congratulations to the Toronto Raptors. What a job, man. So with that said, Colin, that's gonna do it, man. I know it's just crazy. I mean, all this craziness going down. I mean, Okay, Colin, you just tagged me in another thing on Twitter, man. What's this all about?
Hey, man, just came to my phone. Just then, Pelicans are talking to the Hawks. Hawks want that 4th pick. Pelicans get the 8th and the 10th pick of this year. Now, also the Knicks, the Hawks try to get the Knicks the 4th and the 8th pick, well, the 8th and the 10th pick for that 3rd pick, but the Knicks are pretty much locked in. Now, they couldn't get the AD, so they're pretty much locked in at the third pick. They want R.J. Barrett out of Duke, and, one to Zion, one to New Orleans, John Morant, 2 to Memphis, 3 R.J. Barrett to the Knicks, man. So the 4th pick is open. So the Pelicans have a big hottest thing right now. And the Hawks want they're trying to give us 8 and 10 for the number 4 pick.
Oh, that is awesome, man. Like, that is awesome. Man, all this craziness is going on, man. But, hey, I'm excited for this next coming up season, man. But looks like my next guest is already calling me up on the line, brother. So, hey, man, I thank you so much for all of your this season, man, for getting us through, for helping us out, man. I mean... looks like there he is right there. Let me go ahead and, I gotta transfer over to him in a few minutes. But hey, man, Colin, you know the drill, man. Thank you so much for this great season, for being there, for being a big part of it, for talking basketball. Definitely gotta have you back for the draft and in the summer league for sure. I would say, what's your thoughts on the summer league, but we'll get to that when the summer league comes in a few weeks. We'll talk about the draft and everything, so we're definitely gonna be having you back. But I just want to say, man, thank you for a great season talking basketball. And it looks like that's going to be that on the defining moment. I mean, you'll be back for at the draft and the summer league, so we're not going to lose you. You're going to be around. And then, of course, coming up in August, man, the 3-and-out return. So I know you'll be ready for that. Talking some Saints football and NFL, of course. So you don't really go anywhere. It's just kind of a month where it's just not.
You're going to transition.
What was that?
I think you're going to transition from sport to sport. That's it.
The championship.
No, a transition from one sport to another sport.
Oh, there you go. Exactly. Sorry about that. I couldn't hear you. But yeah, man, absolutely a transition from one sport to the other. To another. So, with that said, Colin, hey, man, let these diehard fans, basketball fans, know where to find you on Twitter.
You can find me at @King. That's FATMAC_King. Faith and trials make a Christian. Helping hand and loving heart make the world a better place.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Hey, man, it has been awesome. Like I said, great season. Thank you for everything, brother. Have you a wonderful rest of your day, man. God bless you and your family, man, you and your wife. Have a great rest of your day. Have a great day, brother. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, man. Take care, man.
Take care, brother.
Okay.
Alrighty. So that right there was Mr. Colin Reynolds. Give him some love, y'all. Great guy. One of the best guys you'll meet, man. Certainly incredible, basketball insider he is for us. Well, not an insider, but, analyst that is. And it's great to have him on. Always talking some basketball. But as it goes, we must transition from one sport to another, just like we were talking about with him and going into the NFL, of course, and 3-and-out coming up this week, and basketball concluding for the year. But here we go, y'all. On to the next. Let's do this. On to the MLB. We have our next guest on the line, as well as the newest member of IE Sports Radio and proud member of the Bases Loaded team tonight. Do not miss it. Bases Loaded has returned, y'all. That's right. Mr. Brandon Buckingham and Mr. Taryn Rodriguez will be on the air tonight talking some MLB, some College World Series, even a little National Pro Fast Pitch. I mean, this is going to be so awesome. So glad to have Bases Loaded back, and it's just going to be great. Blake Henley will be joining them on Thursday evening, so it's just the party's going to continue. Now we're in full effect. We got our baseball show back finally, so really excited for that. And this is great to have some more great colleagues in the mix. But with that said, ladies and gentlemen, I got to give him his introduction in his first time here on IE Sports Radio. Glad he can join me early this morning, ladies and gentlemen. He is, of course, an OCC graduate of the Orange County Community College graduate, and very proud alum of that school, as well as a soon-to-be alum of a Long Beach State University, where Mr. Gabriel Montoya just graduated from a few weeks ago with his bachelor's. So really glad to have this guy aboard. He covers lacrosse. He'll tell us all about that for the pilot, I believe. Forgot what it was, but he'll be giving us that information, of course, in a little bit. But hey, man, great to have this guy aboard on our team. He just made our team that much better, and really excited to have him on the air tonight for Bases Loaded, and happy to have him on the air today talking some baseball. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, welcoming the one, the only Mr. Taryn Rodriguez. What's going on, Taryn?
Hey, how's it going today, everybody? It's Taryn Rodriguez here, and I'm in the Inland Empire Sports Radio.
That's right, brother. IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Hey, man, glad to have you a part of this. Glad to have you, doing your thing, man, and joining up with us. Real quick, I just got to say, man, you were one of the newest members, or the newest, if you will, or one of the newest members of IE Sports Radio. How you feeling, man? You ready for tonight's show?
Absolutely. I definitely am ready for tonight's show.
That's what I'm talking about, man. You've had you've actually had a little, a past, a history with podcasting, and you actually taken a podcasting class this semester, and of course, you do some writing. So go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself, man, before we go ahead and get on with some MLB.
Okay, well, for starters, I currently am a student at Cal State Long Beach, or Long Beach State, as many people refer to it as, and as you know, that we're now known as the Sharks, which is a little embarrassing, but it's whatever. As for me personally, I write for a lacrosse website called MaxLax. So yeah, I write boys and girls lacrosse. I sometimes write a little college lacrosse, but it's mainly just high school boys and girls lacrosse in Orange County. So, and maybe I'll cover a little lacrosse in Los Angeles. So, and I freelance write for the Daily Pilot sometimes as well. I just recently wrote 2 Little League stories for the Daily Pilot last week.
Well, that is awesome. I mean, that is so cool. The Daily Pilot, y'all check it out. Taryn, you still got to forward me some of your links, man. Actually, I just got to go on your page and find them real quick. But definitely, man, great stuff as always. Awesome to have you aboard talking lacrosse. It was pretty awesome because when we first talked to Taryn a couple days ago on Sunday, and I got him aboard the team. It's funny because I told him, I talk a little lacrosse too. I was talking about how, Virginia does it. They get this thing done, win another championship. That's a whole bunch of championships for them in lacrosse. But they got done in basketball this year and in men's lacrosse. And, well, for men's basketball and men's lacrosse. And for the women, Maryland does it again I think this is 4 in the last 9 years, or something like that. So incredible job for the Lady Terrapins, and it was pretty cool to hear him be like, no, yeah, it was cool because it's like, yeah, he knows, so it's pretty cool. But yeah, that's pretty awesome, and like I said, man, you're a great asset to the team, and we're just happy to have you aboard.
I appreciate that. Glad to be here.
Hey, well, thank you very much, good sir. Let's get on with some baseball for the day. This is gonna be great, man. Tonight, oh my gosh, let me just take. I know I don't want to expose everything on tonight's show, but man, you guys are talking in the Bases Loaded group on Twitter and our chat group tonight. Just a few things. We're talking Padres versus Rockies, of course, which is one of the craziest series I think I've ever. I mean, I didn't get to see it, but my gosh, what a series! I think it's the highest scoring series we've ever had, or something like that. We'll get into that momentarily. I'm pretty sure you know more than that than I do. More about that than I do. Judge and Stanton rehab stint. And you'll also be talking all-star roster predictions, and you'll be reviewing the College World Series. I'm pretty sure up to date. So there's a few things there that Mr. Brian Buckingham put in the group. I mean, first things first, let's start things off with this crazy series. I mean, were you able to catch any of that series between the Rockies and the Padres this past week, Mr. Taryn?
Yes, I actually saw the last game of the series between the Padres and the Rockies, and I was surprised to see them scoring that many runs, and it was only the 3rd inning. I was like, whoa, this has the potential of being a football score. And then, strangely enough, it was a football score. The Padres won 14-13 over the Rockies. It was basically it was the San Diego Chargers beating the Denver Broncos off of a late pass from Phillip Rivers. if you all want to talk football, but,
That's what I'm talking about,
football.
man. That is awesome stuff. And yes, what an incredible series this was. I mean, highest scoring, right?
Yep, that's what it's looking like. Yeah, it was definitely high scoring, especially that last game. That last game, it also had drama as well. I think it was Saturday that Manny Machado got ejected, and it's been an interesting ride with him, transitioning from the Orioles to the Dodgers to the Padres.
Yeah, real quick, let's talk a little bit about Manny. Right now, he's, I think he may have found his home, and San Diego's an awesome place. I think you and I both know, because, you're in Long Beach, I'm over here in Riverside, so it's like we're not too far away from San Diego. Beautiful city. Have you ever gotten a chance to go to Petco Park?
No, unfortunately, no, I haven't. But I hear it's a pretty good place. I have been in San Diego before. Really nice place. I still live in Newport Beach, but I have heard great things about San Diego. Really nice place.
Oh, without a doubt. And I'll tell you what, Mr. Taryn, it is awesome. Such a great park. Mr. Alexander Gaines, which is also a part of Bases Loaded. Don't know how much he'll be active this year. He's pretty, got a pretty busy schedule with his job and everything, but maybe he'll join in coming up later on this year or maybe next year. But, him and I went in 2016, enjoyed a great game, saw David Ortiz play his last season, didn't get to see him play, he sat the whole time, but they gave him a surfboard, they awarded him the surfboard in the beginning, and it was really cool. Alex got a picture of that and put that up on his Twitter background. But, man, I mean, just what an incredible park that is. Absolutely beautiful. And, so, number one, the park's amazing. And Manny Machado, I mean, he's been deemed as a quote-unquote dirty player. He has been deemed as he hasn't necessarily been the most easiest player to say something, to talk about without bringing up some kind of, controversy with him sliding into second with his cleats up or, whatever. I mean, people just talk about, but, of course, excuse me, a couple toss-ups he got in with some pictures and everything. Of course, I mean, he's got beamed, so I mean, hey, he's just defending himself. But I know, turn the other cheek. It's tough. But regardless, man, Machado, I think, has found a home because the Padres are looking pretty darn decent. You know what? This is the first time in a very long time that I could actually see the Padres are actually competitive. So as of right now, man, with the Padres, the offseason that they had and everything, it may not be World Series for them this year. I don't know. I don't think that's very realistic if it is. Well, I mean, hey, the Blues were dead last in January. Okay, in the first week of January, they were dead last, and they won the Stanley Cup. So yeah, just saying, it's a big possibility that anything can happen. But from right now, I mean, it doesn't look like the Padres are a World Series favorite. Once again, we don't know what happened; only God knows. But I'll tell you what, Mr. Taryn, this team is certainly looking a lot better, more competitive than they have in years. Right now, what do you feel like the current state of the Padres is? Do you think Manny Machado might just be there, be a lifer there? And if they acquire a little bit more talent, how far away do you think this team is really from a serious playoff run?
Well, I think, definitely the Padres have drastically improved a lot. But, they're still playing pretty much second fiddle to the Dodgers, unfortunately, for them. As, Manny Machado definitely makes the Padres so much better, I think the Padres are a few key pieces away from possibly challenging the Dodgers for the NL West. Because, the Dodgers are the Dodgers. They're obviously talented. But, the Padres themselves, they're on the rise, They're definitely better than some other teams like the Giants. No offense to all the Giants and Cardinals and Rockies fans. But, the Padres definitely look like a new team, And they're now pretty much one of the only few San Diego teams that San Diegans cheer for, considering the Chargers moved to LA. Sorry, San Diego fans.
Yeah, which is really sad, but I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I know the LA fans are pretty happy, but yeah, I mean, Chargers are gone. The San Diego fleet was here and then left. I mean, of course, I mean, the AAF folded, so that was it. I mean, they do have the Gulls down there, the minor league hockey team, so I'm a Ducks fan, so I'm just saying that's pretty cool that, I mean, they got their minor league hockey team down there. I think that's AHL, I think, but no, yeah, I forgot what they are. But yeah, you're right, man. There's not much more down there. They don't have a basketball team. The Clippers left San Diego back in, I think, 83 or 84. So, yeah, man. I mean, if you're a San Diegan, you're kind of all in with the Padres, or you kind of just don't maybe not cheer for sports. I mean, you got San Diego State down there, and basketball's pretty dang good. Football's getting better. Of course, Coach Rocky Long down there doing his thing, and I think Brady Hoke returned as, on Rocky Long's staff. He was a former San Diego State head coach years back. But, yeah, there's really not a lot there. So, I mean, as sports-wise, so you're right. I mean, the Padres are kind of really all they've got. And right now, it's just kind of nice that at least the Padres are somewhat competitive. So, right now in the NL West, Dodgers are leading by 10 games. My gosh, you're right. They are playing second fiddle. I mean, and also a couple other teams playing second fiddle, too. I mean, Colorado, Arizona, and San Diego, we got 10 games back for Colorado, 10 games back for Arizona, and 12 games back for San Diego. Then we have San Francisco at 15 and a half games back. So right now, getting closer to the All-Star break. I mean, I know, hey, anything can happen in the second half of the season, but man, right now, Taryn, it just looks like the Dodgers are kind of the class, not just of the NL West, but of the MLB.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, considering the Dodgers have had some good they've had some good, decent wins. Like, I saw they recently beat the Cubs. They did have a little bit of a hiccup against the Angels, but, the Angels have been up and down, pulling up the Dodgers schedule as we speak, Yeah, they recently swept the Giants a few series back, and unfortunately they did lose 3-2 yesterday against the Giants, but nothing, there's no use crying over spilt milk. They just got to move forward and keep it going, because they're obviously got their other league rivals coming up with the Rockies, then the Cardinals, then the Rockies at Colorado. So yeah, there's no time to sulk for the Dodgers. If they want to make it to the World Series for a third straight year and possibly take it, they just got to just keep going. They have the pieces. They just got to apply themselves.
No, you're absolutely right. And yeah, they definitely have the tools to do it. Very proud of my Angels, by the way, winning the Freeway Series last week. I mean, so proud of them. I mean, they have been up and down, but we're just getting better. I really like what Osmus is doing. I forgot his first name, but yeah, he's really doing, helping out. Helping the Angels do big things over there. So we can go ahead and transition right now, I guess, into the AL West. Houston leading by 8.5 games right now. We got Texas 8.5 games back. Oakland 11 games back. The Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim 12 games back, and then the Seattle Mariners at 18.5 games back. Right now, I mean, such a crazy... Blake and I were talking last week. We were like, man, how is Seattle in last, and how is Texas in second? Like, to think those two would be flip-flopped. But right now, give us your thoughts on the AL West.
Well, for starters, the Astros are the Astros. They're obviously continuing their dominance. The Rangers are knocking on the door. They're also trying to do their best to try to get to the AL West. And then you have the Oakland A's and the Anaheim Angels. Basically, Oakland has been up and down. They're currently in a series against the Orioles, and they kind of struggled against Seattle as well. And Seattle has been interesting as well. They're dead last, but they've been trying to play spoiler to most of these teams. And as for the Angels, one of my favorite teams, the Angels have been up and down. One series they look like they can hang with some of the AL. The next series, they look like they couldn't even sniff the playoffs. Like I said on Twitter, the Oakland, they struggle they struggled a lot against the Mariners and the A's, but then they looked like a whole different team against the Dodgers and the Rays. I was very surprised to see them splitting the series at Tampa Bay. I mean, they could have actually swept that series, honestly, considering they had their chances. Like in their second game against Tampa, they led 4-0, and then their bullpen imploded pretty much. That was pretty painful. And then they also had their chances to win the series 3-1 against the Rays in that final game. But, unfortunately, it just wasn't meant to be. But, big shout out to Mike Trout, who hit that 2-run bomb. That was amazing. So, and with Justin Upton coming back, it definitely helps the Angels a lot. The Angels are just a few pitchers away from actually having a legit team. I can see the Angels making a little bit of a playoff push, but do I see them going to the playoffs? You may have to may have to quote me on this a little bit later. So I don't know about playoffs possibly, but it's still a long season. We're not even at the halfway point. So the Angels are obviously playing in a series against Toronto. I obviously expect them to win that series, but anything can happen. The Angels, once again, they just got to be consistent and clean.
Absolutely, and I mean, you know what? I mean, you're absolutely right. The Angels are definitely a good strong team right now. You're right, with just not a lot of pitching. So if they can get better, my gosh, I mean, just to think of what they can do. It's going to be awesome to know where they can go. Very proud of them right now for playing lots better this year. But yeah, a few pictures away, I'm sure. And the Astros continuing their dominance. Let's go ahead and go to the AL East real quick. Yankees leading it by a game and a half right now. Boston had a terrible start. World Series hangover for sure. However, they're still hanging in there. They're fighting back. They're over 500 now. They're 5.5 games back. Tampa Bay is 1.5 games back. Toronto, well, they certainly did it in basketball, but in baseball, not looking so great. 18.5 games back right now. And then, of course, Baltimore's just having yet another rough season. So what can you tell us about the AL East?
Well, the AL East is very interesting, especially with the Yankees and the Rays playing each other this week. Yesterday I saw that the Yankees had a 2-hitter against the Rays, which is very impressive because, the Rays have a very good offense. And, if you could limit them to just only 2 hits, that's very good because they have some good hitters like Meadows. I think it was Austin Meadows. But the Yankees have some good pitching, and they have some good hitters as well. And this hasn't been the easiest of all seasons for the Yankees, but they're starting to get together because to lead the AL East, that's one of the toughest divisions in the AL, in the American League. So hats off to the Yankees. The Red Sox, I could see them making a playoff push because I could see the Rays and possibly the Red Sox in the playoffs as the wild card representatives, considering those two have talent. While the Red Sox haven't been as dominant as they have been in the past, like especially last year, the Red Sox are still there. Like, it's tough to win at Fenway Park. It's very tough to win there. And, winning at Tampa is also pretty tough as well. And, winning at Yankee Stadium is very tough. So the AL East is definitely one of the more dominant divisions. So keep an eye on the Red Sox and keep an eye on the Rays and Yankees as well. The Rays-Yankees series is going to be the pivotal series. As for last week, like I said, I was surprised that the Rays split the series against the Angels. And I was also pretty surprised at the Yankees splitting the series against the White Sox because I saw their first 2 games, and I'm like, wait, the Yankees are better than this. Why are they losing? And then they finally got together in the last 2 games. So, props to the Yankees. I was saying if the Angels are going to do something good, they should probably help out the Yankees if possible. And, they kind of helped them out. So now the Yankees are starting to get the ball rolling after dropping the first 2 games against the White Sox. They won the last 2 games, and then they pitched that gem of a 2-hitter, a complete game 2-hitter, might I add. So, yeah.
Well, that is without a doubt such a crazy division, and yeah, man, I mean, Yankees just doing the dang thing right now. big signing, Encarnacion to New York. Forgot his last name, but yeah, I mean, for his first name, but he will be playing, wearing pinstripes, so just a big addition there. So moving on now to the AL Central. I was just go all around the board, man. Central right now, Minnesota just looking like a team who is gonna be a good team for a few more for more years to come. They are currently leading by 10 games right now. Cleveland, they're always competitive. Well, they've been competitive the last couple of years. However, they're still trailing by 10 games. Then it just kind of drops off. I mean, maybe not by much, but 12 and a half games back, we got the White Sox. Detroit is having a tough season, 20 and a half games back, and then 23 and a half games back. Kansas City is just... They're a few years removed from the World Series, and they have just seen better days. But, I say, hey, they got the World Series, but as of right now, lately, they're definitely, once again, hitting some bumps. Your thoughts on the AL Central?
Well, the AL Central is interesting. It's obviously a two-horse race with Minnesota and Cleveland, but, the White Sox are obviously trying to play spoiler, maybe try to sneak into the playoffs. Definitely... The Twins were probably one of the more surprising ones to make it out of the AL Central because honestly, I think the Indians are good, but it's tough to be good when you're in such a weak division. Not saying that the AL Central is weak, but it's just not as strong as like the AL East or possibly the AL West. I can see the Twins obviously if the Twins continue to play like they have been. They'll obviously emerge from the AL Central, and who knows, maybe they'll make some noise. They do have an interesting series this week. They play the Red Sox. Yesterday, they lost to the Red Sox 2-0, but as I said, it's tough to beat the World Series champions because, the Red Sox, like I said, the Red Sox are definitely getting the ball rolling, and, they're starting to get it together after their sluggish start. So, Minnesota... if they want to be contenders, they got to beat some good contenders like the Red Sox because, it can only get tougher from here, especially when they have a series with the Rays coming up. And the Rays, it's a 2-game series. Oh, no, 3-game series. It's not going to be for a couple more weeks, but, the Rays are obviously going to pose a big threat. So, for the Twins, in order to be the best, you got to beat some of the best. Then the Indians, they're still in the thick of it in the wild card race. They do have a tough series against the Rangers, so they're definitely going to need to get it together against those guys. But I can see the Indians again. It's too early to talk about the wild card race, honestly. But I could see the Indians possibly emerging. I think the Rangers are also good, but the Indians, if they're their vice grip over the wild card is starting to loosen up, especially with the Red Sox getting hot. So the Indians have got to watch it.
Absolutely, man. So interesting thing going on there in the AL Central. Let's go move on to the NL East. The Atlanta Braves, man. I mean, you know what? This isn't the toughest division in the MLB, but you know what? You got to give these guys some props. The Braves, I mean, once again, I'm not the biggest baseball guy out there, but from the last couple of years from what I've seen, the Braves have been okay, but they definitely haven't been, front running or anything, at least from what I've seen. Maybe they have. My apologies. Once again, got to follow baseball a little better. But Atlanta leads it by 3 games right now. The Phillies not looking too bad. 3 games back. Then we have the New York Mets. They're 8.5 games back. Once again, they had a tough year last year. Maybe it's been the last couple of years, but they, of course, the team that was playing the Kansas City Royals, a few years back in the World Series. Now they're also kind of, slumping, but they're still around. Then the Washington right now is just, the Nationals. Unfortunately for them, Bryce Harper, is, no longer a part of them. He's a part of those Phillies now. Of course, I'm sure a great reason why the Phillies are doing, pretty good these days, or much better. But Washington just looking kind of, they've had better days as well. Kind of tough go there, but they're 9 games back. And then Miami. Okay, the Marlins, 16.5 games back, having quite a tough season as well. What can you tell us about the NL East?
So the NL East is interesting. We talk about the Braves. The Braves have actually been one of the more hotter teams. They've actually won 10 of their last 11. Like, they actually reeled off 8 wins in a row, and then they faced the Phillies last Saturday. You know, they wound up losing a close one, 6-5. But, you know, that game could have gone either way. That's a divisional matchup. You know, those two are rivals. You know, and when it comes to rivalry games, you just got to throw out the records. So you know, it's the Braves are definitely the hotter team. The Phillies have been up there, you know, with Bryce Harper, as you said. You know, they're still not. They're still trying to get it together in the NL. They'll probably emerge as one of the favorites to win the NL wild card or to be in the NL wild card. So, but I'm definitely impressed with how the Braves are doing, because the Braves, like I said, they've been the hotter team as of late. You know, they have a series against the Mets. I don't see them struggling against the Mets. And then, you know, they play the Nationals. I do see a 4-game series against the Cubs where they might possibly have to play their A game at Wrigley Field, considering, you know, it's kind of tough to win at Wrigley Field. But you know the Cubs have been up and down. You know, but that could be an interesting. That's definitely an interesting matchup to watch for. But that's not for another week when it comes to the Braves and the Cubs facing off against one another. But yeah, the Braves have been really impressive. You know, reeling off 10 out of the last 11 is really good, and I can see the Braves also emerging from the NL Central.
And wouldn't that be something? And then the NL Central, man. I mean, I'm sorry, that's the NL East. The NL Central.
NL East, my bad.
It's okay. Then last but not least, a division that Mr. Blake Henley is just infatuated with right now, because he believes that this is going to be probably the most competitive, and I think it is right now. I mean, my gosh, we have quite the fight at the top, and even the bottom isn't so far away right now. It's actually a pretty good division to watch. We have Milwaukee leading the charge right now. They're a half a game ahead of those tough Chicago Cubs. The Cubs they're a few years removed from their first World Series in 108 years, and they are trying to do it again. Such an incredible job by these guys, and they are really, really playing some great baseball. Just a half game back from Milwaukee. St. Louis, they were just swept by Chicago, I think 2 weeks ago on our Series of the Week that ended on Sunday Night Baseball. And here we go again. You know, they're definitely not out of it by any means possible. I mean, of course, it's kind of impossible to talk playoffs right now. I mean, we're not even to the All-Star break yet. But man, St. Louis is making their statement 2 games back. Then Cincinnati. I mean, yeah, Cincinnati and the Pirates. Cincinnati 7 games back and the Pirates 7.5 games back. But still, that's 7 and 7.5 games back. If you look at the rest of the entire MLB, look at the gap from first to second between the Dodgers and Colorado, 10 games. The gap between, the AL East is pretty close here. But the AL West, 8.5 games between Houston and Texas. The AL Central is a 10-game gap between Minnesota and Cleveland, and pretty competitive in the AL East. So if you look at it, I mean, the Central is actually from first to last place closer than a good amount of other divisions of the MLB from first to second.
Yeah, definitely. This is one of the more interesting leagues. This is probably the most competitive league in all of MLB because, as you said, any team can win that division. So far, Milwaukee is ahead in that division, and then you got the Cubs that are knocking on the door. The Cubs have a very tough series, pulling up their schedule as we speak. I believe it. They have a 2-game series against their Chicago brethren, the White Sox. So that'll be an interesting series. The Cardinals are still in it. And any team in the NL Central can win that division. I definitely can see it. It'll probably come. My bold prediction is that it'll probably come down to the last few games when it comes to this division on who will be named the division champion, because like I said, any team can win that division, and then you also have to look out for who will be in the wild card race. It looks like the Cubs are looking strong. They have, like I said, they have a big divisional matchup against the against the White Sox. It's always a good rivalry. The Brewers had a tough one against the Padres, but like we just said, the Padres are a whole different team from last year. They're much improved. So you definitely have to watch out for this division. Another series that will be interesting that I'm looking forward to is the Reds versus the Angels. So, I said to one of my buddies that I could see the Angels winning, but, you never know with the Angels because they've been up and down. And, this division is very competitive. So, and you can never count out anybody. Even the Pirates. The Pirates have a chance at winning the division as well. They're only 7.5 behind. And I say the words only as seriousness. So yeah, I could definitely see the NL Central coming down to the last few games. That's a tight horse race right there.
It really is, and this is awesome. Like, we have ourselves one awesome season underway right now. I mean, once again, not for everybody. Some teams are just struggling. That's the way it is. But as of right now, the front runners are, I like it, refreshing. Some of the same teams there, but some of the same teams aren't. So, I mean, I just love it. It's refreshing to see different teams kind of rotate at the top, and just what a incredible job there. But, yeah, man, so with that said, I mean, my gosh, right now, the College World Series. As a matter of fact, you know what? Let me take a quick little tidbit for us here. Series of the week coming up this week. Once again, it's always the series that was that ends on Sunday Night Baseball. Believe it or not, y'all, Angels and Cardinals this week. So my team is on Sunday Night Baseball in the series of the week. So really excited for that one. Angels at Cardinals. That will be a 3-game series. Starting on Friday. Once again, Angels at Cardinals. Super excited for this because this is going to be an awesome series. Looking forward to this. What have you got to say about this? You got a hungry Angels team who has been up and down, and a Cardinals team who's only 2.5 games back. Who do you like for the series and why?
So it's going to be that's a very interesting series considering that's going to be Albert Pujols' first return to St. Louis in an Angels uniform. So it's going to be very interesting to see. Yes, I did hear that is going to be Albert Pujols' first series return in an Angels uniform in St. Louis. So it's going to be very interesting to see how the fans react. I'm sure they'll get mixed reactions from the fans, And as for who I like in that series, I definitely think that series can go either way. I honestly don't really have a favorite. If I'm being biased, I'm obviously saying the Angels, but their bullpen has been up and down as always. But I'll give this one to the Angels because the Angels kind of need this one because they've been shredding sub 500 for a while, but now they're starting to get together. I'll be interested to see how they do against the Blue Jays, then against the Reds, then against the Cardinals because like I said, the Angels have a solid team. They have some very good hitters like Trout, Shohei Ohtani, Pujols, Fletcher's on the rise. But, their pitching, most of them have either whiffed or they've either been on the IR. But, the Angels are definitely a team to watch. I wouldn't count either of them out. And then you have the Cardinals, which obviously are doing all they can to possibly make the playoffs because they have a series right now against the Marlins. They still have some good players. The Cardinals have Yadier Molina, Harrison Bader, Matt Carpenter's good, Adam Wainwright, Dexter Fowler to name a few. Carlos Martinez has been solid for them. So overall, I think this is going to be a toss-up. I kind of got to give it to the Angels because they have a lot of potential talent, but in terms of bullpen, I definitely would take the Cardinals. But overall, I'm liking the Angels for the series. I say they'll take it 2-1.
Now that would be awesome. I think so too. I'm gonna give one to the Cardinals, but 2-1. I'm gonna say the same exact thing. Copy off you there, but That is awesome stuff, man. Now, quick little, you guys are going to talk more about this tonight, but a little recap of the College World Series for this past week. Michigan defeats Texas Tech 5-3 on Saturday, and Florida State defeats Arkansas 1-0. Then on Saturday, Vanderbilt wins a big one, 3-1 over Louisville. Mississippi State comes back, 9th inning comeback, 5-4, getting it done, defeating Auburn. On to Monday in the elimination game, Texas Tech will eliminate Arkansas 5-4, and Michigan will defeat Florida State 2-0. Today, we have another elimination game, Louisville versus Auburn. Someone's going home, and we have Vandy taking on Mississippi State, and then depending on how that goes, then we have an elimination game tomorrow, Texas Tech versus Florida State. Who do you like so far, and what are you surprised about so far in the College World Series?
So I'm surprised. My favorite to win it is probably Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt has always been one of the more dominant teams in the NCAA baseball. You know, I had one of my friends play for Vanderbilt and win the national championship with Vanderbilt. But you know, Vandy is someone you gotta watch out for. They're always that perennial juggernaut. You know, Michigan has been the dark horse and Cinderella of the World Series. Like that. You know, knocking off UCLA was very impressive by them. You know, and UCLA was the number 1 overall seed, if I'm not mistaken. So to knock off UCLA is quite amazing for Michigan because you know when you reach the World Series, anything can happen. You know, if you're playing your best baseball, you could ride that wave of momentum all the way to the championship game. So I also like Florida State. You know, I have a friend that is an ardent Florida State fan. You know, he was a little disappointed that Florida State lost, but, you know, I can see Florida State just bouncing back because, you know, they obviously have their longtime coach who I believe who is in his 40th season. So he's very, very, you know, Florida State wants to obviously win it for him. I believe he's retiring after the season. Don't quote me on that. And then Auburn and Louisville is going to be interesting. Obviously, I have a few Auburn friends that obviously were a little saddened at the fact that Auburn lost that one game. So, you know, you got to feel for Auburn. But, you know, if Auburn wants to stay alive in the World Series, they got to brush themselves off. Just say, you know what, things like that happen. It's a part of baseball. You know, we just got to move on and just stop dwelling in the past. You know, I can see Auburn like bouncing back. You know, Louisville's also solid, and you know Texas Tech is pretty good as well. So, like I said, in the World Series, anything can happen. Whether it's in junior college, the MLB, or NCAA. You know, especially in college sports. You know, anyone can beat anyone at this point of the season because you know when everyone starts the NCAA playoffs, you know, obviously everyone's 0-0. No one cares what you did in the regular season. And I think that was Michigan's mindset going into their series against UCLA. So, you know, with Michigan coming out and just beating UCLA and continuing their Cinderella story, I think, you know, anyone can take it. You know, anyone can beat anyone. But, you know, my favorite personally is obviously Vanderbilt. I think Vanderbilt will take it all, but, you know, I've been wrong in the past. So it'll be interesting to see how this pans out.
It's all good. Yeah, man, Coach Mike Martin is his name. I said a wiki him real quick. Florida State head baseball coach. But yes, he's in his 40th season. From what I understand, the same exact thing too. He's retiring after this year. I just got to ride the wave. I'm going to say they pull it off for him. They dig deep and they win this thing. I mean, what an honor to send off a head coach who's been there for 40 years with a national championship. I mean, it'd be nice to see him ride into the sunset. I love those stories of riding off into the sunset. So I'm going to take Florida State. But still, man, just what a great College World Series it is, and we're looking forward to, a great conclusion. So, with that said, there it is, man. Mr. Terran Rodriguez, give you an applause, man. I mean, you can't hear it, but the applause button has been hit. Thank you so much. That's your first time on air here at iSports Radio. Tonight, you'll be right back at it with Mr. Brandon Buckingham. Really excited for that. Should be a great show. Are you excited for tonight's show, man?
Absolutely, definitely excited. Like I said, I'm very excited to be here, and I'm looking forward to tonight.
Well, you and me both. I'm sorry, that had to clear my throat. You and me both, and I am super excited for what's to come. We're ready to rock and roll, man. I mean, Base Loaded finally back here at iSports Radio, and my gosh, one more time. iSports Radio, finally back. Basically, finally back on iSports Radio. I'm just happy to talk some baseball. But hey, man, thank you so much for spending your time with us this morning here and for talking some baseball on the defining moment. Once again, man, Mr. Terran Rodriguez. All right, brother, you got to learn the drill now, man. This is the ending part. This is where you got to plug yourself. Once again, talk about who you write for. Talk about, whatever you've done in the past or whatever you're currently doing and everything. And of course, man, let these diehard baseball fans know where they can find you on Twitter.
All right. Well, once again, I write for Max Lax, a lacrosse website. You know, we're all obviously in the off season, so we're not too busy. You know, you can follow me at Terran Rodriguez1, TERAN, and then Rodriguez, and then 1 on Twitter. You know, I post a little bit on Instagram, but you know, I'm mainly on Twitter, so you can find me there. I also cover a lot of high school sports. You know, mostly high school sports for like Newport Harbor High School, which is where I went. You know, I also try to cover most of the Sunset League as well when it comes to high school sports. But you know, do follow me if possible. You know, follow me along with my journey, and you know, hopefully, Cal State Long Beach, the Dirtbags will be able to get back on top when it comes to NCAA baseball. And a shout out to Max Lax OC and Max Lax LA as well.
Well, that's what I'm talking about, y'all. Once again, big applause for Mr. Terran Rodriguez. Hey, man. Once again, thank you so much. Got to make sure to give him a follow. Y'all check out all of his work. Great stuff as always. All right, Terran. Hey, man, it has been great. Thank you so much. Have a great show tonight with Mr. Brandon Buckingham. And on Thursday, Mr. Blake, H-Town Blake, will be joining you guys. I don't know if you'll be there on Thursday, but hey, if you are, then hey, man, looking forward to hearing a great show with you three. And hey, man, just keep it going, brother. So hey, thanks again for all of your, your input today, and I can't wait to hear tonight's show.
No problem. And thank you to everyone. Thank you to all my friends and family and for this moment. And thank you, Larry.
Hey, appreciate you, Mr. Terran. Thank you very much. You're very welcome. Hey, man, have a great week. God bless you and your family. Have a wonderful week, man. I'll be tuning in tonight for the show.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Hey, Todd. Take care. All right, y'all. Once again, Mr. Terran Rodriguez. Great guy, man. Glad to have him aboard. Glad to have him on the show. But, yeah, so that is that. We are going to go ahead and take ourselves a break, and when we come back, be ready for the interview that everybody's been waiting for, I'm sure. My interview with Mr. Ash Gibbs. Awesome interview. Trust me, it hits the heart, y'all. You got to hear it. It's a good one. So with that said, you are listening to The Defining Moment right here on iSports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Drivers, start your engines. Auto racing takes many forms, from the close quarter contact of NASCAR
to the high-speed, high-risk atmosphere of IndyCar,
all the way to the pinnacle of technology with the Formula One World Championship.
No matter if you prefer the high banks of Daytona,
the concrete canyons of Long Beach,
or the flowing curves of the Nürburgring,
the international language of motorsports is simple. Go fast,
run hard,
and come home first.
So join us, myself, Darrell Kinsey Jr.,
Lolita Camello,
and Michael Ward,
on a world tour of all the best motorsports has to offer on the Extra Mile, Thursdays at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, only on your home for all that is sports, i.e. Sports Radio.
Hey, what's up, sports fans? You're looking for a different type of sports talk show, something you haven't heard before? You got to check out the BS3 Sports Show every other Saturday on 2 Live Stews Radio, 1 p.m. Central Time, 2 p.m. Eastern. Sports talk at its finest. Always have great guests. playing some good hip-hop. You don't want to miss it. Make sure to tune in to the BS3 Sports Show every other Saturday at 1 p.m. Central Time, 2 p.m. Eastern.
Ladies and gentlemen, hear me and hear me good. If you like sports, then you like the Wait a Minute Show. If you like comedy, then you like the Wait a Minute Show. If you like a different opinion coming from a different angle, then you like the Wait a Minute Show. So join me Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with your host, Jelani J.B. Bodie. And of course, my man Lopan on the WaitAMinuteShow.com. Ain't that right, Lopan?
Hey, what's up, BS3 sports fans? If you love listening to the BS3 Sports Show, check out the weekend wrap-up every Monday at 12:15 Central Time, 1:15 Eastern, recapping the weekend in sports like you never heard it before. Comedy, interactive chat room, it's a must-listen. Weekend wrap-up on Spreaker.com, part of the X Squad. Check it out. You won't be disappointed.
Good day, folks. Yours truly, Nico Green here, reminding you, tune in to the Neutral Zone Hockey Talk Radio Show, Tuesdays, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 Eastern, proudly brought to you by IE Sports Radio. It's the Neutral Zone. All hockey, all the time. Take care. See you soon.
Hi everybody, it's Calvin here from USRN, here to give you an important message. Since 2017, we have done our absolute best to provide you with nothing but the highest quality of sports calls in the greatest of quantity possible. Thanks to you, our station has grown more than we ever thought. That's why, with your help, we would like to grow even further. Just think, twice the amount of your favorite calls, 24 hours of coverage, talk shows, play-by-play, game-by-game analysis, and so much more. That's right, USRN2 is officially in development, but we can't do it alone. We have set up a GoFundMe page that you can access from our homepage on the left of your screen. We also are planning special giveaways and prizes to our highest donors. Our goal here at USRN is to bring you the best calls possible at no cost to you. In order to continue to do that, we need your help now. Please check out our GoFundMe page, and if you would like to know how you can help, you can email usrnradio@gmail.com. Without your support, we couldn't do what we do.
Hello, soccer fans. Pierre Moss here with you. I am the host of the Soccer Scoreboard Show right here on IE Sports Radio each and every week. Games and the best action from around the world of soccer. Not only do we have live scores for you, but we also news and all the latest stories from the soccer world right here on the Soccer Scoreboard Show. Come join us each and every week right here on IE Sports Radio.
Hi, I'm Phil Robinson, running points, setting up Phil Jones for the finish. Join us every Wednesday, 5 p.m. Pacific Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, as we break down the week in basketball on the home for Real Talk Sports Radio, IESportsRadio.com.
What up, all you boxing fans? This is Vince Wright, the sports governor, and me and Gilbert Batista are the host of Ringside on IE Sports Radio. Make sure you keep it tuned to IE Sports Radio, Spreaker.com for the latest edition of Ringside. All the boxing news you need right here. Keep it tuned, Spreaker.com, IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Were you listening to a great game on USRN, but then the Wi-Fi crashed in the final seconds? Or do you simply want to listen to the best calls we here at USRN have to offer? Well, then you need to go check out our Audio Boom page. It holds a collection of our best calls that you don't want to miss. How do I get there, you ask? You can download the Audio Boom app and look up Ultimate Sports Radio, or simply go to audiobook.com/Ultimate Sports Radio. And as always, thanks for listening and making USRN one of the most talked about sports networks on Mixler.com.
Wrestling fans in the podcast world, you are in the right place to listen to the right show, the premier show in the professional wrestling podcasting world. This is Ring Rambling Radio, and you are listening to one of the co-hosts. I am Martin Sandoval, a.k.a. the SoCal Saint, along with my two co-hosts, the lovely Felicia and my boy Matt. Yes, every Saturday or every other Saturday morning, you can listen to us, the premier wrestling team, giving you the premier wrestling news, rumors, updates, event discussions, everything that has to do with professional wrestling. You're in the right place. IE Sports Radio presents Ring Rambling Radio. Don't miss it, because it's just too sweet.
Two Wheels Wednesday is the place to come for all your motorcycle sports news every Wednesday on IE Sports Radio with myself, Matt White. All the latest news, rumours, race reviews and previews from World and British Superbikes and the big one, MotoGP. Two Wheels Wednesday, every Wednesday on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sport.
Hey USRN fans, do you have a product or company you're trying to promote? Look no further. USRN is teaming up with small local businesses trying to establish themselves via online promotion. Let us know if you're interested. Email us at usrnradio@gmail.com to learn more.
From the home plate to the nets, the end zone to the finish line, Here nothing is off limits and no sport is safe. Not what it seems, with your host Caitlin Seam, bringing you sports like you've never heard before. Catch me Thursdays at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific, right here on IE Sports Radio. The only question is, are you ready?
Want to follow the show and the guys outside our broadcast? Follow us on Twitter using the following handles. For Matthew Owens and for updates on our schedule, follow at 24MOwens. For Seth Eves, follow at SportsJunkie94. For Pierre Moss from the Wellington Sports Network, follow at Skywalker42811. And for myself, Calvin Vandergrift, follow at Cal Mr. MISTER 2000.
Lopan, they didn't even want you. Heck, they didn't even want me. But you know what? Right about now, they have no choice. Looking for the real sports talk? Talk that's for us, the people? Look no further. The Wait a Minute Show, a prime time sports comedy cocktail that tucks you in at night. Join me and Lopan Wednesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the 2livestewsradio.com and Saturday 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the waitaminuteshow.com. Sounds like a plan to me. Ain't that right, Lopan?
Indeed.
Welcome back, sports fans. Well, as you heard in the introduction of the show, we have ourselves a very special guest here today. This is a recorded interview from yesterday afternoon, but I'll tell you what, it was one of my all-time favorites, and I'm saying that in the beginning of this interview because I'll tell you right now, this next guest is such a diehard. He goes back quite a ways with the team. It seems like he's been through every one or almost every one of their painful years, and guess what? He's got to be feeling on top of the world right now, because if the Raiders win the Super Bowl, I'd be feeling the same exact way right now, okay? So this is one awesome interview, and I'm saying that from the very beginning without even have done the interview yet. This is going to be awesome, so I hope you're ready for a good one, because we have ourselves a lifer of the St. Louis Blues here. Ladies and gentlemen, as I mentioned, the special treat is officially here, because we have on the line for our special recorded interview today talking about the NHL Stanley Cup and his St. Louis Blues. Ladies and gentlemen, welcoming all the way, alright, this is pretty awesome too, okay, all the way from Canada, okay, he said he borderlines Minnesota. He's got to give me the city once again because I forgot, but he borderlines Minnesota up there in the Great White North. And how awesome is it, because he also happens to be a Toronto Raptors fan, so just saying, it's a double whammy for him right now. He's got to be feeling great. Ladies and gentlemen, welcoming all the way from Canada, die-hard, lifetime St. Louis Blues fan. Ladies and gentlemen, welcoming Mr. Ash Gibbs. How's it going, Mr. Ash?
Feeling great. It's been very exciting last it's still surreal feeling.
I have to. I mean, there's no way that I couldn't disagree with that. I mean, like I said, if my Raiders were to win the Super Bowl, I mean, I'd be feeling like that same exact thing. I mean, you guys, the St. Louis Blues, I mean, my gosh, just looking at what this team has had to endure. We talked a little bit ago, 49 years, okay, since 1975, and the last time, or 1970, I'm sorry, 1970, and the last time you guys were even in the Stanley Cup was versus the Bruins in that 1970 Stanley Cup final. And my gosh, you guys were absolutely destroyed by the Bruins. And, you know, to think, you guys could have got it done in 6 in front of your home fans on your home ice. Instead, you just had to take it to 7, and you didn't just win it in 7. You destroyed the Bruins. It's kind of like you just paid them back. Like, hey, 49 years ago, nobody was on that team from right now, okay? That was quite some time ago, but guess what? The fans remember, so we're going to pay you guys back on your home ice. I mean, what was that, a 5-1 victory in Game 7? You guys absolutely just destroyed this team. The Bruins were one of the toughest teams all season long, and they proved to be a tough team all throughout the playoffs. But you guys, you can't script this stuff, Mr. Ash. You can't script this. They were statistically, as we talked about, the worst team, okay, in the worst team in the NHL back in the first week of January. And my gosh, they find themselves in the playoffs, and they get their chance, and wouldn't you know it, they get this thing done, getting all the way to the Stanley Cup Finals, and guess what? They get this thing done, defeating those tough Bruins in 7 games, winning their first Stanley Cup in 49 years. First one ever, okay? And in their first, I mean, how crazy is that? First one ever, first Stanley Cup ever, and in their, I believe that's their second, or I don't know how many before that, but in their first appearance since 1970. So, Mr. Ash, that's enough of me yapping. Let's just go ahead and first get things going. Go ahead and give us your entire history of being a Blues fan. The floor is yours right now. This is the Ash Gibbs show for this interview right now, sir. So the floor is yours. Go ahead and talk about how you became such a diehard fan, how many years you've been a diehard fan, and just take us back to you just being the diehard fan that you've always been.
Oh, it's been a very painful 35 plus years plus. I'm 44, and growing up in Canada, and every Saturday you'd have to watch the Leafs, and you'd have to watch the Canadians, and growing up and then being a hockey player yourself, you're like, okay, second week in January, that Saturday night, they're playing the Blues. You would just, as a kid, you'd be waiting for that moment to watch your Blues play and getting to watch the Sutter, and you just watch as a kid growing up, like, it's all you heard was Toronto, and you had Montreal, and you had all that Western teams, and then finally, when you're just cheering for a Blues fan, whenever you got just a little hint of it, you make the most out of it. And growing up, playing hockey, like, mimicking the players you saw, like, I grew up, I had, like, just a kid watching the Brett Hull, Adam Oates days, and it was always, we're just about there, but we just couldn't do it. And then, like, watching Pronger, I remember as a kid playing against Pronger when he was growing up, and just seeing, you saw talent, now you're watching him wear the team jersey that you idolized. It's surreal in so many ways that it's finally taken 52 years, 49 years to get back into that game. And the worst part is that Bobby Orr goal, the leaping goal, has been icon, has been like a legend, and every Blues fan remembers that it was against us, that goal. And then finally to see in the game, getting those chances, and now becoming more and more, and getting closer to each season, you're getting older, and then just this last playoff, it was just such a roller coaster. It was such a dream come true. Like, it finally got our chance. We finally got to sit at the table instead of the door closed on us. It was, it's probably still not going to hit till probably another month from now when you see those T-shirts and the hats. Like, they're out now, but where I am up in Canada, just a little life. I was like, yeah, by September, we're going to start seeing finally some St. Louis merchandise in stores up in Canada. But, I can't thank you enough. This is finally a moment for all St. Louis fans. It's a pleasure. Thank you.
You are welcome. You can't hear it, neither can I, because I put the sound down, but there is an applause button going for you right now, Mr. Ash. Let me just hit the other one, too, because, hey, this is for you, man. Seriously, this is for you and your Blues and the years that you've had to endure. What a great thing.
Oh, it's the whole moment. I still think that Rod, from the Bobby Orr goal, next was Steve Yzerman, where he came in, we had Gretzky, we had Brett Hull. We were supposed to win, and he hit the bar down and scored, and it was just misery. And then it was always kind of the Blues mentality of, like, when is the other shoe going to fall? And finally, the shoe didn't fall. We finally finished what we started. And on Saturday's rally was probably some of the most insane comedic parades and footage I've ever seen in my life. Just getting Tim himself to get himself a reality show. I couldn't stop laughing. Just he was playing the tuba in the band. He was playing the drum. He took that mini bike out, and you had O'Reilly riding the bike up and down with the crowd high-fiving. It's what every fan wanted, and it's humbling, but it was so rewarding. And you're trying not to be over the top, but it's just, damn, it's so good to finally have the Stanley Cup with that note on the front of it going to be matched with all these guys. It's awesome.
I couldn't even imagine. I mean, I am a Ducks fan, of course, being down here close to Anaheim, and I definitely am I'm getting more into it. They have won in my lifetime, actually back when I graduated high school, back in I think 2007 when they won the Cup. But once again, I haven't been the biggest hockey fan. I barely just recently, a couple years back, since Nico Green here on IE Sports Radio started hosting the Neutral Zone. Buddy, let me tell you about some hockey. Mr. Nico Green doing his thing. And of course, Mr. Kelly Henderson now joining in. They've been going 2 years strong, basically a year and a half, but they're doing their season 5 finale tonight, which is Monday. So if you're listening to this, you're listening right now, that was actually last night on Monday night, but since the interview is being recorded on Monday afternoon, it's tonight, of course, just, between, for Ash and I. But hopefully you enjoyed that show last night. Great stuff. Nico and Kale will be back coming up in October, ready for the next season of NHL hockey, of course. But, speaking with Mr. Ash here, I mean, just talking about, how I haven't been necessarily the biggest fan. Listening to Nico the last couple of years, it's crazy because Nico has said something before, and I think Kale agreed with him, but I don't want to put words in his mouth, but I remember Nico saying this before, that about the Blues, because the Blues in the last couple of years, you guys have been in the playoffs, but Nico had once said, okay, now don't take this as an insult, because right now you guys are on top of the world, you guys are good, but in the last couple of years, Nico had said it. Being a lifetime hockey fan and former player like yourself, he said that the Blues just have this thing about getting, they seem to be pretty okay in the playoffs. And then, in the regular season. And once they get to the playoffs, they're like a totally different team and they just fall apart. I mean, how true would you say that is? Well, until now.
Oh, I'd say that's spot on. It was always that one piece was missing. And it was always, do we have the goalie? And finally, with our kid, Jordan, God, he still looks like he's like 15, 16 years old. But when he put the jersey on, and you could just see, people might interpret it as being arrogance, but it's a kid that's been through so much, and it's finally brought that confidence that they needed in that goalie position. And it's funny, you can just see things clicking. Once the players saw they had the guy in that, everything just went out from there. And it was just how manipulated the puck, how he was reading plays, and he controlled his read on. It really complemented the way the defense would was played. Yeah, we're not the most tedious team for defense, but we had big bodies that would always keep the bodies away from that. So he'd make the first stop, and they would get the second, and the rebounds away from the transition lane. The one thing that was very, very underrated was his puck handling ability. He made so many plays during the regular season. When being a Blues fan, you watch that, and you're like saying, this is the guy. Please don't have the wheels fall off by the playoffs. And it just, as soon as that first series, when he put in Winnipeg, when he was there, you just saw confidence. And I was fortunate enough to be in Winnipeg. I sneaked up for Game 5. I'm around 3.5 hours away from Winnipeg. I sneaked up to go watch the game in Game 5. And I fluked out to be that pitcher for the NHL, the one fan surrounded by Jets fan. That was me, and it just exploded. And just watching him, he got the confidence that we can do it. Even if we were down 2 goals in that Game 5, that was probably, I hate to say, the biggest game, I think, that really turned the Blues players to believers was that game. When they came back by 2 goals in that third period to come back and win, was probably the most exciting game I have ever witnessed at a Blues style.
Oh, that's awesome. You know what? Let's just go ahead and segue right into that, because I did want to recap the series with you. I mean, let's go ahead and just talk about maybe just even your nerves, okay? Now, I don't know if you want to revisit that too much, but it would be kind of fun, just a little bit of talk about that, and just kind of recap where you, like, kind of what you were feeling throughout the games. I love doing this with fans. It's really fun. So, back on Game 1, May 27th, on Monday, Game 1, Bruins take this game on their home ice 4-2. Now, I talked to Mr. Chris Blackie, of course. He is one of the co-hosts of the Boston Sports Blitz. It's an all Boston sports podcast that him and Mr. Stephen Thompson do. Great stuff there. Boston fans want to check that out. But Mr. Chris Blackie, right around the first, I think, in the first or second week, so it might have been Game 1 or Game 4, somewhere right around there. But Mr. Chris Blackie was on a couple of weeks ago and talked about, I think it was right before, talked about it should be a crazy series. He didn't want to see it go to 7. He says, but he still thinks we can get it done in 7. I even picked the Bruins in I think 6. But I just felt like, they were the tougher team. But he even said it. He says, the Blues are like the Bruins of the West. He says, they're tough, they're a physical team. He says, I expect this to be a low-scoring, tough hockey, low-scoring, tough hockey games. And, I mean, it turned out to be pretty accurate. But game number 1, 4-2, Bruins defeat the Blues back on Monday the 27th. What were your thoughts for this game? And were you even too worried because it was only game 1? What did you see in this game, if you can remember?
Oh, just the first probably 10 minutes, you could just see nerves and the excitement. You could just, being a fan, you're just like, this is happening. And then you watch the play, and it just seemed like they were fumbling. They were fighting the puck. Like, it was like they always joked about it, and they always say that when you played it, you're able to handle it. But it just looked like the nerves got right to them. Like, their first pass, the neutral zone. But our big game is getting the puck up, off the board, neutral zone, dump, and then control the O zone. It just seemed like they just couldn't hold the puck in the end. And it was frustrating because you could just see that it wasn't going to work, and they were just capitalizing on the power play. I think that was the game where they were perfect on the power play, and it was just like, this is what they told us. And the thing is, a lot of things was, even in that series, we're the least penalized team. And then seeing us fill ourselves in the penalty box, I'm like, this is not how we're going to play the series, because it was going to be painful. And, yeah, just watching it, and when it ended, we're here. It's game 1. Let's steal one on the road. That's all we had to do. Steal one on the road, and that was their trademark. They were road warriors.
Oh, absolutely. You guys were, both of you guys were, even Chris Blackie said that, I think, and I think even Kale and Nico said that both these teams are pretty much road warriors, that they could win on the road. And, well, going on to game number 2, what did you do? You won this thing in overtime. The Blues won this thing in overtime 3-2. How did you feel after game number 2, Mr. Ash?
Oh, it was just Bennington. It was Bennington who got us to win that overtime. And that was the thing that we waited all these 49 years is to have that goalie. Because you could never say steal us a game. And just watching him and his performance, and then finally when we could get our opportunities, we were scoring. And then just watching play with Boom Boom Gunnarsson, oh my God, that was, I have to give credit to them. That was downplaying. Ever since you said that, every Blues fan calls Carl Gunnarsson Boom Boom. He's not putting the puck in the net a lot, but when he has been, it's been critical, important times. And that was probably the biggest one in Blues franchise. That was our first win ever in Stanley Cup. It was just, we got that win, but we made off like bandits and we were gone. And come back to our barn. And that's all we wanted. We wanted to have that first 2 games in St. Louis, and it was so rewarding that we tied it up. And we were pretty much our backs against the wall. I don't think there was too many, if any, insiders that were picking the Blues. That was the part that was so exciting and glad to see we finally were proven so many wrong. So, oh God, it was just, you could feel it starting.
I mean, absolutely. Like I said, I'm not an insider whatsoever or a professional at this or expert, whatever you want to call it. But like I said, I even had picked the Bruins just because based off of how well they played, I think everybody's not really riding off the Blues, but just picking the Bruins because, well, if you know anything about the Blues history, they maybe next year. But then again, with hockey, who knows? It's crazy. It's all over the place. You don't know if there is a next year for your team or it's going to happen in a couple of years. Who knows? But the Bruins, we knew, of course, were a tough team. Then on Saturday, June 1st, Well, the Bruins kind of proved they were a tough team. 7-2, absolutely just destroyed the Blues in Game 3 on your guys' home ice. What were you thinking after that game?
Well, we were down in St. Louis that time, my daughter and myself. We got to go down Saturday, and we had the big street party. We're all lined up, ready to go, and that's the first game. First game in St. Louis. And tickets were so hard to come by. And we were out in the front of the street, we had the front row, and we feel last with this not even puck drop. Boom, there's a black sign that comes up. You're going to have to leave. There's a bad storm coming. So here's the 20,000 plus. We're all sitting here ready to watch our first game in St. Louis. And then we made the trek down. And I just remember looking at my daughter. She's 10. She came with me. And she was like, what do we do now, Dad? We're not familiar with the area. We're not with the kids at Metro. So we're watching and listening to the game on the Metro link of the game. And you could just see that first period where the wheels fell off. And I'm like, oh, God, this is going to be bad. This is going to be painful. Did I jinx the team by coming down? Like, the whole superstition starts running wild. It was just, they slowly, like you said, they just controlled the tempo. They just pretty much did what they wanted with the Blues that game, with the way they dominated the puck. And it was, I was saying that's when people were starting to doubt the goalie. And that was the first time, I think, a lot of the experts, when we were watching and listening, they were saying, is this the end of the Blues? And being a Blues fan, you're kind of like, okay, we got a first home game. It's nervous. You got all the jitters. Everybody's home. And you're trying to think of, thinking to yourself, where and what the problem was. And I'm not going to lie, I probably would chalk it up to nerves coming back home to your city. You got all the family, all the friends that want to see, but it was just not a game to watch.
Oh my gosh! Well, you were down there. That is something, man. To think. I mean, that is just crazy to think you were there in Game 3. Game number 4, though. What happened, Mr. Ash? You guys come out and get this thing going. The Blues take game number 4, 4-2, and tie the series up at 2-2. Now, I'm sure the morale had to have been a lot different in this game because this could have been really the decider. If they would have went up 3-1, that's tough. But you guys just stuck with it. 4-2, nice victory at home. I mean, now give me your thoughts after Game 4.
Oh, it started the whole day because that was the day my daughter was asked to skate out with the Blues for the opening ceremonies and go to center with the flag and being the junior captain. And when we're there, the emotions of being your dad, seeing your daughter out, and my wife, she said I would have been a train wreck. I was. And she's out the ice, and she's got her Blues jersey on, and the crowd's going crazy. Seeing a Stanley Cup game, this is a bucket list. And you're there, you're close to the ice, and your daughter's out there, and she loves the game of hockey. And I've got, like, tears coming down my eyes watching her, and the players coming by, and she's got some of the alumni coming by saying she's doing a good job. We're so proud. And it was so rewarding. Within that 40-some seconds they scored, oh my God, it was euphoric in there. Everything was crazy. And the thing was, everybody laughed right away. A couple of the ones that did it, she went earlier in February. When she went out in the ice that game against Nashville, they scored within the first minute. As soon as they did it, everybody looked, that kid's the magic touch. The kid's the magic. And I'm a train wreck. I'm crying. I'm like, oh, there's my daughter. Oh, the eyes. Oh, my wife's coughing because she's just envisioning how much I'm off the rail. Just so proud of our daughter. And then just watch the game. When we went back up to the stand, it was the St. Louis Blues hockey that we know and we love. And it's frustrating for other people that are not fans of it, seeing that the mucking and grinding in the corners, the cycling, where you're going that one game, I think it was almost 4 or 5 minutes, but we controlled the puck, and it was a banging and crashing, and the fans are just going crazy. You've been there in the regular season, but when you go to it was like the roof was going to collapse. Like, it was so rewarding, and my daughter's just got eyes as silver dollars when they scored. And then after watching the whole domination and watching the crowd go crazy to get that shorthanded goal, it was just like it was just quiet. And then waiting for, this is where being the Blues fan, you're thinking, is this when the shoe falls off? And it reverses when Ryan O'Reilly got his second goal. And that place, the roof blew it off. And they just dominated. They just kept forcing. They just kept cycling. And when they got the empty net goal, I think every true Blues fan was finally finally got an empty net goal. Being a fan, just these buildings, we never get an empty net goal. It just seems like it was just so rewarding to be in that environment and that whole vibe. That when we sit down at my daughter and she was just grinning, she's laughing, she's cheering, and everybody's high fiving. It was probably one of the most enjoyable moments that I've ever been to watch a game with my daughter. And I was just hoping. And when the wife was messaging me, she's laughing. You could see, she goes, "You guys, this must be in seventh heaven." I said, "This is the greatest game I've ever seen in my life." But yeah, it was. I still remember it. You can still feel it. You could hear the crowd. It was so rewarding.
That is incredible. So you were okay. So you were there for game 4, and so 3 you were, or you? I'm sorry, I couldn't quite. It was a little tough to hear you there. But game number 3, you weren't, or you were? Because game 4 apparently you were, right?
Yeah, game 3 we were outside. We were watching the game live on the with the viewing party.
Okay.
We were there, and we were all getting ready to go. That's when the bad storm, and we had to pretty much return back to the house we're staying. With the bad storm coming, it was just, we're like, oh God. And listening to a game on my phone, watching and listening to the game, was like, this is not why I came to St. Louis to watch a game on my phone on the Metro link back to the house.
That is incredible. Okay, sorry. It was a little tough to hear. You sound a little muffled, but it's okay. So I can still make out your words, but it was crazy because, like, oh my gosh, like, to think you were there, though. I mean, game 3, you were there, tough go, but you were there, like, in the arena watching the game. You got your daughter on the ice. Let's give her an applause. I mean, seriously, that is awesome. So, yeah, congratulations to your daughter for being out there on the ice. That is super cool. Seeing her out there, you in tears, your team winning this thing. I mean, what an experience. That is going to be with you forever, right?
Oh, it is. And it was that moment, and it's my daughter, just seeing her and having her able to see. And she plays the game, and she loves the game, and she's growing into it like what I was. And it was fun her seeing that moment where you're in 18,000, 19,000 fans, just going crazy. And she just had that grin ear to ear that I was like, that was me when I was 10. And it just hope that she gets the hockey bug that I've got. And it's something I'll never forget, and I just hope it's memories she never forgets.
I don't think she will. And if she's a player, that is awesome. Well, I wish her all the best in her playing career, no matter how far she goes. That is absolutely awesome. And I know for a fact that that's something that you and her and your family will cherish forever. So that is absolutely awesome. That is such a cool thing. So moving on, though, you guys won that thing. Great victory. And I mean, come on. If there was gonna be a better way to just take control of this thing, you guys go to Boston for game 5, and Mr. Gibbs, you pull this thing off 2-1. Okay, and I'm saying you because, you know, that's the way I see it. If you throw on that jersey, or even if you don't, you got on some kind of gear or something, or it doesn't even matter. That's your team no matter what, wearing the jersey or the gear or whatever. That team, okay, it could be a lanyard in your pocket, like my Raiders lanyard. It doesn't matter. That's your team no matter what. So I will refer to it as you guys because this is your team for sure. And the Blues go pull this thing off, man. You guys win this thing 2-1 over the Bruins in game 5. I mean, in Boston, on their home ice. I mean, give me every raw emotion in game number 5.
Oh, we're there, and you're trying not to put the cart in front of the horse, and you're just like, okay, we got him. And it always seems like once game 5 on, the Blues go up that next tier, and they just wear out the other team, and they just pound, and it's that smash mouth hockey, and you can see the defense is becoming tired. They're starting to make those passes and wearing down Chara, and like it was just so much emotion watching that game. And again, Bennington standing on his head, and like guys like Tarasenko is back checking. They're playing the body. It was just one of those games that you're like, you're sitting like I'm in the living room, but I'm 3 feet away from the TV, like I'm 7 years old again, just waiting, anticipating. You could see it. You could feel the momentum going to when they finally get the go ahead, and I'm just, you don't know what to do. You're in shock. You're like, we can win the cup. We just won, and we're now 3-2. We stole a game from Boston again and we're running out to come home for Game 6. We can do it. We can finally win it in front of the home crowd. And it almost, you kind of build it into like that Disney moment. Like, it happened. We won. And everybody, and I think that every Blues fan started looking over their shoulders saying, when is the bad thing going to happen? And we now are in the driver's seat. You see it, you start remembering it, it starts coming back to you, and this is why I love the game of hockey. You now get to enjoy it. You go back and you watch old games, and it puts all the demons away that we finally now have just about that foot in the door for the Cup. But then, apprehensively, being a Blues fan, you're like, what's next?
Unfortunately, you're kind of waiting for the bad. I mean, right? I mean, you know.
Well, it just has, and that's being a Blues fan. Like, you love the team to death, but you just like, we gave up a shorthanded goal, and then we had this. It's just like, this is too simple. This isn't Blues hockey, and I think that's when all the new fans that were coming onto the game were all ready to stick a fork in Boston, and every Blues fan was like, this is the most dangerous point of any series when the team has its back against the wall. And every Blues fan was just like, okay, let's just get the 10 minutes into that Game 6. Let's just get 10 minutes into the game and survive. And that's exactly what I think every Blues fan was just hoping. Just get into Game 6 as quick as we could.
That is, I mean, that's a rough one, because I can totally know what you mean. I mean, once again, my Raiders or any of my teams, it's just, you don't want to have the negativity, and you try really hard to get it out, but it's like, it's a thought that crosses your mind, like, we're not out of the woods yet. We're almost there, but just don't mess this up. And unfortunately, for you guys, it would be a tough go. I mean, history could have been made on back-to-back days, okay, which was crazy. I mean, the Blues could have won this thing on their home ice, okay? Could have won this thing 4-2, won the series, first ever. I mean, of course, inevitably it did happen, but it was, I'm saying, it could have been, that happening. And then the very next day, on Monday, it could have been the Raptors doing the same exact thing. First ever NBA Finals. Like last week we were just talking about it when we were on the show last Monday. And yeah, could have happened, didn't happen. The Raptors, the Blues could have done it the night before. The Raptors could have done it, and there it was. But, you know what? It wasn't Friday, it wasn't Sunday, Monday. It was Wednesday, Thursday, as a matter of fact. So it did happen. Silly me for saying it didn't happen a day apart, because it did. But it just kind of delayed the inevitable. And there we go. I mean, maybe not the inevitable, because of course, everyone still thought. I mean, I still would have picked the Bruins to win this thing. I thought the Blues had every chance to win it in Game 6. Then I was like, well, the Bruins are going to win this thing at home. Darn it. Like, I'm not bummed because, hey, I don't have a dog in the fight. I mean, as a all Los Angeles guy, you already know I'm not the biggest Boston fan. you should know that. But just knowing that, hey, you know what? Still, it's a respect thing. I was giving, I think, Mr. Chris Blackie kind of a hard time, because I was like, man, I'm not a Boston fan by far, but it is Title Town. I was giving him a hard time by saying, or even just Boston fans, or I was just kind of, even like my good friend Alexander Gaines, he's one of our baseball hosts here on our baseball show, Bases Loaded. He's an all Boston guy, and I was like, my gosh. I mean, I was picking on the Celtics. I was like, you win the World Series last year, the Red Sox. The Patriots win the Super Bowl, as always. And then we get on in, well, kind of as always, and then we get into the NBA Finals and the Stanley Cup. You guys have a chance to do what's never been done. Win all 4 sports in the same year span. And Celtics just didn't feel like they wanted to be a part of that, so they went ahead and flopped out. Well, they didn't flop out, but they fell apart. And then I was like, oh, well, hey, Boston still could do it, though, with 3. I mean, hey, I don't think that any team's ever done 3. I mean, 4 would have been nice, I think, for Boston fans. But once again, the Boston Bruins, I mean, and that's just 4 major sports. Of course, they got they got soccer over there, and the Revs and everything. But I'm just saying, or the New England Revolution. But I'm just saying, it would have been cool to see all 4. I mean, even if I'm not a Boston fan, It would be neat to see that happen. But you guys, of course, had to be the wrench in the gears, and you know what an incredible job. Once again, I'd never dog in the fight. I would have been fine with either one winning, and I am. I wasn't on cheering for anybody. Of course, for my friend, of course. I guess you could say I was slightly cheering for the Bruins, and of course, just knowing that. I was cheering for the Bruins, but knowing that they were just a little bit better, I guess filled, or at least better throughout the season, just knowing that, well, they're probably going to get it done. I just love the underdog. As you know, I'm a Raider fan, okay? So, I'm an underdog. I love all about the underdog stories, and trust me, I was all for it. I just didn't think they were going to get it done. And the Raptors, I was like, come on, win this thing. Nothing against the Warriors at all. I have nothing against the Warriors. I just love seeing new teams win it, and variety, and lots of, competitiveness in the leagues, and monopolies are cool, because my Lakers were once that back in 2000 to 2002. But I'm just saying that, it's neat to see other teams step out from the shadows and win it, and my gosh, game number 7. So, Mr. Ash Gibbs, give it to us. Give us, I don't care if you take 10 minutes, I don't think you will, but if you do, give us every thought, every raw emotion, everything from game number 7, from start to finish. You guys win this thing 4-1 and pull it off. Give it to us, Mr. Ash. What was every reaction in game 7?
Oh my God! First of all, I was away on training, so I'm already in my superstition mode, and I'm just pulling my hair out. I'm away on training, and the build up to that game 7, your guts in knots. You're just, and my wife goes, "You don't even play for them, and you're not like your sleeping pattern and everything." And I'm away. I have to go away for training. I'm not even able to go and watch the game at my house. I'm stuck in a hotel, and I have my superstitions. One that I always had, one of my big superstitions, whenever I went and watched the Blues game, I would go and get a selfie with Darren Tang. And he's the play-by-play color analysis for the Blues on one of the television shows. And I'd always get that. And I was bugging the one gentleman that was a St. Louis reporter, and that day, all of a sudden, he goes, "I got it for you." And he took a selfie with Darren Tang. And he goes, "This will help you with your superstition." And right away, I'm like, oh. My wife's laughing at me, and I'm like, oh my God, Ben got a selfie with Darren Tang before the game. This is check 1. Check 2 is I put my jersey on. I won't eat during the game. I have all these little routines. I'm sitting in a hotel 3 hours away from my house. Everybody says, "Come on out and have a drink. Come watch a game." I'm like, no, this is my moment. I want to see it either euphoric, I want to see the fireworks, or this thing goes up in a heap. I don't want to be with people. I don't want to hear people talk about games. Like you said, it was my team, our team's moment to shine, and I'm sitting in the hotel and then just watching the puck drop. And then when we went that first 10 minutes, I've never seen a goalie stand on his head ever so perfectly in my life than that game by Bennington. The saves, and he was just keeping it. And the announcers were getting to the point, like I was going back between BBC and NBC, just listening to them. Like I was even superstitious which station I was listening to. So I'd go back and watch my station, and then that first opportunity when I think it was like we had maybe 3-4 shots that first period, we scored that first goal. I'm like, oh my God, we did it. We just took all the air out of them. And then with 6.5 seconds or less than 7 seconds left, when our captain steps up and pretty much put the team on his back and got that 2-0 lead at the end of the first, I'm sitting here yelling and screaming in my hotel room. We're getting ready for someone come knocking on the door to see what's going on up in my room. It was just amazing. And then the intermission came, and I was so nervous. I'm pacing the hall of the hotel. Like my wife says, they probably thought you're out in the field. I'm wearing a Blues jersey in the middle of northern Ontario. I'm in a hotel, walking the hallways, and every room I'm walking down, and you could hear in that hotel was a hockey game. You could just hear a hockey game, and I'm like, oh, and my nerves are getting up, and I'm like, let's just do it. The Blues are amazing when they have a lead. They hold the lead, and that's when they control, and they gum up the neutral zone. And then watching the game in the second period, and Boston's coming on again, and then we get a third goal, and then we just kept scoring at will at that time. I was like, oh my God, it's happening. It's happening. In the meantime, my phone's blowing up because everyone where I live and all the way around us, they're like, Ash is the only Blues fan in Northern Ontario. and pretty much for a while there, I felt like I was the only fan in Canada. And my phone is just going off between Twitter and people texting me. Like, people I haven't heard from in like 5-10 years are like, "You're going to do it. You're finally going to do it." And I didn't want to look. I've got friends that are Bruins fans that are messaging me saying, "Yeah, you finally got it. Enjoy your moment." And I'm just sitting there watching the game, and my wife's texting me like every goal. I'm like, I'm just so fanny. I'm like, oh my god. And she's laughing. She's like, "You're going to do it." And then all of a sudden she goes, "Now he has to get the shutout." I'm like, no, you don't face that with a period left in the game. I'm like, no, take it back. And then when they scored the goal, she's like, she laughed at my superstition. She's like, "How did that work?" I said, "As soon as you say the S word, it happens." And I'm watching it, and finally, it just goes to 0. And that moment, you could see the players come off the ice, and what was awesome is how quick the Black Aces were on the ice. All the guys that were there. And I'm sitting in my room, and my wife messages me, and I FaceTime her. And my friend he's in St. Louis area, FaceTimes me, and he's like, his wife is a big Blues fan, and he's a Red Wings fan. He goes, "Are you crying?" I'm like, "Yes, I'm crying. I'm a hot man." Oh, 5 years. And I'm like, "Oh my god." And he's laughing at his girlfriend, or fiance. She's crying. I'm like, "This is like the greatest sports. This is my moment." 35 years of all the beatings and all the, your team sucks, and going to Winnipeg. When I go to Winnipeg, I just constantly take a beating. It's finally, I'm like, yes. And everybody, you come into the bar, "No, I want to see the dressing room. I want to see this moment. I want to soak up what I've been waiting for since I've been like a 10-year-old kid." And you saw it, and you lived it. And then the more you kept watching it, there was more and more videos that are getting posted. So the game ends, and this whole celebration, all of a sudden, I'm like, now I want to have a drink. I walk across the road, and I go to the bar across, and I order my drink, and she's like, "We're closing in 20 minutes. Like, are you kidding me? I'm finally going to have my drink I have, and I'm already getting rushed out. I look around the bar, I'm like, "There's nobody here." I'm like, that's typical Canadian hockey. There wasn't a Canadian team in the final. The game ended. Okay, let's go home. And I'm sitting there, the only guy sitting there cheering on the thing, cheering at the TV, shaking my hand, and she's like, "You got 10 more minutes, sir." I was like, oh god. Okay, I drank my drink, got a cycle on it, and I just went back to my room. My wife's laughing at me. She goes, how was your celebration? I'm like, 20 minutes and the bar shut down because there's nobody there. Like, it was so happy, so rewarding, but at the other time, like, I could just feel what the fans were back in St. Louis, and they kept showing the arena. They kept showing Busch Stadium. Like, it was just total, like, pandemia. I mean, like, insanity, seeing what that town needed and what they went through. And then I was just like, right off the bat, the wife goes, "Are you going to the parade?" And I'm like, "I don't know." It was just so much emotion, so much stuff. You were almost like you're 10 years old again. And you finally got to see your team lift the cup, do their lap. Everybody that you grew up idolizing, and you're a grown man, but at that moment you're like 10 years old looking at Pietrangelo, Ryan O'Reilly, and you're just like, they did it. And there's nothing that nobody else can take from you. And it was that moment that I think every St. Louis Blues fan can finally just sigh and just appreciate the moment. And it's still going. It's still a rush.
The applause button has been hit. I'll hit both of them for you. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Ash Gibbs. You can't get, you just can't, you can't get a more fan, if you want to call it a fanboy moment or a fan, fandom, you can't get a more, a more exciting story. I mean, from the true fans themselves, of course. I mean, you can get them all over the place, but when it comes to the diehards, I mean, it's a magical moment. You guys were able to pull this off. What a cool story. I mean, seriously, I love it. This is what we're all about here at IE Sports Radio. Those moments. That's why this show is called The Defining Moment, because they're the moments that define sports. And right now, even, of course, as a fan, this has always been a by the fans, for the fans type of podcast network, as named by Mr. John Felipe, one of my co-hosts and colleagues on the on 3 and Out, our NFL show, our football show. a professional football show. But yes, I mean, that is exactly I mean, I'm telling you, I knew from the when I first started talking to this guy, ladies and gentlemen, we got on for the recording, we were talking, you can just tell he is, I mean, every bit of the 100% extremely diehard fan. I mean, since about 10 years old, he said, or since 10 years old, been a diehard fan. I mean, that is incredible. He's been through all of the tough seasons with his team, and this is it. The moment in the hotel room, the moment going to the bar and just being like, oh, that's it. Like, it's funny. Like, we're closing soon. Like, I just thought it was pretty funny, but my gosh, you earned it. I don't care if you got, I mean, seriously, it doesn't matter. I mean, right, when you're a diehard fan, I don't care if you're watching a TV in a hotel room by yourself. You want to see everything. You want to, I mean, I'd be breaking out my phone and taking snapshots of the TV, okay, because I want to have that forever, or recording when they're, skating around the ice with the cup. I mean, Mr. Gibbs, this is incredible. You've had a roller coaster in the last week or two. You get to see your daughter on the ice. You attended. You weren't just a fan. I mean, of course you're a fan, but you weren't just watching this whole entire thing on TV. You attended a game. You were at a watch party. You got to see your daughter on the ice. I mean, seriously, they won the cup. They won the night that she was on the ice. You got to experience a low when they beat you guys down 7-2, and you were there at the watch party. You got to experience a high when your daughter was on the ice, pregame ceremonies, and you were there, or for the pregame, and you were there watching your daughter, and said, with tears in your eyes, watching her skate around the ice, watching them win this thing at home, the agony of defeat, the next game, winning it again in Boston, then the agony of defeat, as I mentioned, we didn't think we got to the final score. It was 5-1. When on Sunday the Bruins beat the Blues on their home ice. You guys go to Boston, and there it is, 4-1. Ladies and gentlemen, the St. Louis Blues, your 2019 Stanley Cup champions, first time ever in the history of their franchise. They win this thing. You can't script this kind of stuff. So I'm just so excited for you, and I mean, it was awesome for you to share all of those things with me, every bit of it, share it all with the fans here, with the listeners. I'm pretty darn sure everybody enjoyed this. If you're a hockey fan, I don't care if you're a hockey fan or what sports fan you are, if that story, if Mr. Gibbs' interview today with myself didn't, just give you all these different emotions of goosebumps, maybe when that happened with your team, or just, no matter what, just showing you what a true diehard, we love true diehard fans here. That's what we're all about here at IE Sports Radio. And if it didn't give you all those emotions, then I don't know. Maybe you just, I have no idea. Maybe you just didn't feel it. I don't know, but I know I definitely did. And just what an incredible story. So once again, Mr. Ash Gibbs talking here about the Stanley Cup playoffs. What an incredible experience that was for you throughout the entire thing. And now here you are, a few days removed. The parade you mentioned was on Saturday. I didn't even know that. I thought that was today. But you have that. You have, of course, the Toronto Raptors. Of course, you grew up as a Raptors fan, of course, because, I'm not trying to say that all Canadians are, but I'm saying you, of course, a Canadian, a proud Canadian, you grew up a Raptors fan. You were even telling me some big time players from back then. And if you could rename them for me, please. Once again, doing my best to get better in basketball as well. But I'll tell you what, man, you certainly have had a crazy 2 weeks. Then the very next day, the Raptors win this thing, first title ever. So if we can, just a few moments. How about the Raptors, man? We're not going to recap the entire series, but real quick, man, your thoughts on the Raptors doing this thing the day after your Blues to win it all.
Oh God, yeah! It was just okay. We're trying to get it going. We're trying to watch it, and I'm finally back home with the family, and we're all watching. We gotta watch this game. This is a must-watch game, and and we're watching it, and you're just thinking, like I said, growing up, you had Vince Carter, you had James Stoudemire, even JYD, Junkyard Dog, all these guys that you were fans of with the Raptors. It was always the proverbial. It was like the same thing. They were like the St. Louis Blues of the NBA. Everybody would never count them in. Everybody always thought they just were always miskept pieces. They always were the Cinderella. They would never get to the ball. And finally watching that game, and you just saw, just that last 10 seconds of the game was just priceless. And the wife and my daughter's just learning the game, and the same thing. She's just she's like, this is incredible. This is insane. And right away, as soon as the game's over, you're streaming just to see what downtown Toronto is going on, and it was just it was just amazing. It's so going to help the game of basketball grow in our country. This is going to just leaps and bounds. Like, this is what the NBA needed, and it's going to give Canada so much more a shot in the arm for its basketball program. It's been an amazing week.
That is awesome. It's awesome, too, for your family, of course, and your daughter just learning the game. I mean, getting more at it. Me, of course, learning the game from a, more in-depth standpoint. Of course, I've been a basketball fan for a long time, but I'm just, that's awesome. She's just getting to know it. You, of course, being a longtime fan, naming some historic players there for the Raptors, and it's just so cool, man. I mean, I'm so excited to see that as well. I mean, I would love to see more teams in Canada. Let's get another baseball team up there as well. I mean, it's super cool. I absolutely think, I love the growth of every sport. I don't care what sport it is. The growth of soccer in the Americas is absolutely awesome, okay? Your ladies right now, okay? The Canadian women right now are in the World Cup playing. I mean, that's super cool to know that a sport that's not necessarily your sport, is getting bigger and better. Me as a Latino, of course, I mean, soccer has been ingrained in my blood, but it's cool to know that, as an American, as, a Mexican American, it's super cool to see this team, or it's super cool to see this sport get bigger here, and it's also cool to see it's a sport that's predominantly American, like basketball, just continue to get bigger and bigger everywhere else, so I just love it. Canadians, of course, you guys love your hockey. I'm getting more into hockey by the moment. I think it's awesome, and it's big a lot of other places too, but it's just getting bigger. I mean, I love it when you see these sports grow, and as Mr. Kylan Reynolds says, also a part of the 3 and Out team here on IE Sports Radio and the IE Sports Radio team and the part of the Defining Moment team, said it before, sports are incredible because they bring people together. No matter who you are, what you believe, doesn't matter what, sports can bring everybody together, and that's why, of course, hence they named soccer the beautiful game, because for the World Cup, everybody's watching the same thing, or together at least for that month every 4 years, or every, I guess you can say, it'll be every 3 or 2, I guess, when it comes to the World Cup for men and women now. So, I mean, of course, it's doubled up. Last year was the men's, this year is the women's. But anyway, I'm just saying that's super cool that happens and that it brings people together. So, with that said, I mean, incredible story. I mean, I'm so glad that I found you on Twitter, that we were able to talk, and that you were able to, he hunted me down, ladies and gentlemen. I was doing so many posts and everything, and Mr. Ash, messaged me, hey, I thought we were going to do the interview. I was like, I'm sorry, sir, my bad. I'm just doing so much right now, but yeah, I'm so glad, I could not pass this up. So glad I get to have you on the air today. I mean, it's been 50 minutes. I mean, we have literally been on the phone for over an hour, but it's been 50 minutes right now that this interview has been, and it's just been a great one. So we got to talk about your Raptors, we got to talk about your Blues, and just what an incredible thing this was. A great interview it was, and I'm so excited to air this thing tomorrow. If you're listening right now on air, on the recording, I mean, that had to have been a great one, right? Please leave us a comment on YouTube, or a review on iTunes, or whatever it is. Let us know. I'm gonna be tweeting about this one momentarily. Tweet Mr. Ash, which of course is gonna get me to the end of the interview here to talk about, of course, where you can find him and everything on Twitter. But with that said, just what an incredible experience. Mr. Ash, before we're out of here today, man, any last thoughts, comments, concerns? Well, I don't think I have any concerns, but any last thoughts or comments for the fans here today?
No, it's just, the only thing I can say is, when the moment hits you, and you've waited this long, and you always waiting for that moment when it hits you even harder than you realize. It is so rewarding. It was so, I can't thank the St. Louis Blues organization for bringing my family down to watch my daughter go to the race the first time in February, and then getting back to me saying she did such a good job. We'd like for the Stanley Cup playoff. It's a Canadian dream come true to be there, to watch your team in a Stanley Cup game, and let alone now having your daughter on the ice. So that memory, it's never going to end. This is something that my family and me really hit home with, and having that moment that we can never forget. And we're getting pictures from fans. They're saying, we saw your daughter here, and they're sharing it with me. It was, like you said, it brought everyone together. What an amazing sport that can bring so much and so many people together. I can't thank the city of St. Louis and the team and everyone on the social media that have been so great to my family and me, and I can't thank enough. And I'm writing this one out until the Stanley Cup is handed over to the next team. This is what we've waited for, and I'm so glad the guys are doing what they're doing. They're letting off the steam what they can do, and it's just amazing. Thank you so much for giving me this chance.
You are very welcome. Wow, so the Blues flew you guys over there.
Well, when we came down there, I booked the flight. They gave me the tickets, and they helped set it up. And they said, "Can you get down here?" I'm like, "I'll fly. I'm down there." And they had the tickets. And when they brought it down in February, because they have it's a junior captain who I think it's DMO, and they never had Canadian kid or anybody from outside the St. Louis area to be their junior captain. And I just went on Twitter saying, "Hey, Blues fan, my daughter has been asking to get on the ice to be a junior captain." And within like a couple months, I had like 300,000 or 400,000 views. And then all of a sudden, I'm getting people that are former players, and I'm getting people saying, "Hey, we're going to put our word in." And then all of a sudden, I get that call in the middle of nowhere in February saying, "We're seeing Twitter. This thing is going getting viral, and we want your daughter to come out and skate with the Blues." And right off the bat, I'm thinking it's a joke. And then all of a sudden, they're contacting me. And then all of a sudden, the Game 5 in Winnipeg, when I was that fan that was lucky to be in the stand where they had that picture where James Schwartz scored, skated over to me, and I was on the NHL.com site. Like, it was almost like that whole, everything I've waited for 35 years happened in 2 months. That is just blowing my mind. And it's just the greatest I'd say the greatest 4 to 5 months of hockey viewing I've ever had in my life, and never forget it. For me and my family. And it's just been amazing.
That is incredible. I mean, once again, where's that applause button? My gosh, Mr. Ash Gibbs. I mean, wow. Wow. That is absolutely incredible. That's so cool. So they gave you the tickets and you got over there and they gave you that is the neat, you know what? That's a class organization. That is so cool. The Blues are awesome for doing that. Thank you to all the players, the former players too. That is so cool. Everybody, to give you this experience, to help you out. I mean, oh God, it's so great. That is awesome. I'm so excited. Like, I'm excited for you, okay? Like, I seriously have nothing to do with this, but I'm excited for you. Like, for this whole thing. That is so neat.
Thank you so much for just giving me the opportunity and just sharing the word and the love of my team with everyone. And like you said, with the Raiders, it will happen. As much as it seems like it's not, and as much as it seems like you're down and out, there's that time. And this was it. Last place, first week of January, to now hoisting the cup. It's unbelievable. And like I said, I just wish to share what we can and how great these professional organizations are to their fans, and they just share it with them, and they've been overly kind with my family and the other fans here in St. Louis, and I just hope we can share the good word back to them.
That is awesome. I'm going to tag them in this interview. I seriously am. I want everyone to hear this as much as possible. I am going to really do my best to blow this up. I'm going to retweet you right now. I'm going to retweet the link. Of course, tomorrow when the show goes up, I'm going to tweet about it momentarily right now after we get off and everything, after we conclude the interview. But my gosh, that was an hour. I mean, it's an incredible hour of great hockey talk, an incredible story for your family, your daughter, of course, for you. Just what an incredible... Now that, ladies and gentlemen, is sports, okay? That is what I'm talking about. It's not always just... Of course, the winning is great, but, I mean, the experience as well, and being there to win when you win it all, to be there with your team, even if it's... You weren't there when the cup was hoisted, it didn't matter. You were there, a part of them. You have been a part of the team. That's what I told you. We are the team. It doesn't matter. Oh, well, don't say that you're... what do you mean we? You're not on the team. You know what? I've supported this team for a very long time. I am a big part of this team, all right? That's all there is to it, and that's exactly what I say for all fans. So yes, it is okay to say we, because you know what, without the fans, teams are nothing, just like famous people and everything are nothing. So you know what, I think that is absolutely awesome. I mean, there's somebody, of course, I mean, hey, God created us all equal, but I gotta tell you that we are absolutely a part of our teams for sure. So thank you very much for your helpful words, your words of encouragement with my Raiders. Thank you very much. I feel like it's coming too. The move to Las Vegas and everything. I feel like we're getting better, but I just got to continue to stay hard on them because not like it's doing anything. But I'm just saying it's been a rough ride. But hey, the same exact thing, man. I live and I'm with my team no matter what. So I'm always excited for them. Always excited to see what's up next, and hopefully we can get a Super Bowl coming up in the next couple of years, maybe even this year. So with that said, Mr. Ash Gibbs, it has been an absolute honor having you a part of the show. Good sir, please let all these hockey fans know. I really hope you get some more followers out of this after that awesome story, but please let all these diehard Blues and hockey fans and sports fans in general know where they can follow you on Twitter.
It's Ash_Gibbs Blues, and it's pretty simple. I did this as a joke getting on Twitter, and like I said, beginning of the season and that whole Winnipeg game, the social media is just blowing up on me. It's been a ride. It's been amazing, and I can't thank the fans for being how great they are to me and my family and my daughter, and it's amazing. And I thank you for giving me the opportunity to share the word.
Oh, you are absolutely right. You are absolutely welcome. And yeah, I'll just looking to look here, just in case. I know it's maybe a little tough to hear, Mr. Ash. I don't think it is, but once again, I just want to make sure that you get get the handle. It's once again Ash at ASH_Gibbs GIBBS and then Blues, the BLUES. Once again, it's all at ASH_GIBBS BLUES, and I love it because even his Twitter his name, that's his handle, but his name is Gibbs, a proud St. Louis Blues fan with the Canadian flag after. It is the coolest thing, man. He is absolutely as true, as diehard as you can get, and what a great story. It was an honor to have you on here today. But with that said, any last words for the listeners?
I'm just ecstatic. I'm going to be around with that. I just can't thank you enough for giving me the opportunity. Thank you so much.
You are very welcome, Mr. Gibbs. Hey, thank you so much for everything. Hey, God bless you and your family, man. I'm so excited. And your daughter, best luck to her in her career. God bless her career. Hey, man, I'm so excited to have had you on the show. What a great interview it was. And I'm ready to, it'd be great to have you on again in the future.
Well, I'd love to. Anything I can to help you guys out, I appreciate it.
I appreciate that. I definitely appreciate that. That'll be awesome. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, once again, that was Mr. Ash Gibbs. Give him a big round of applause. When we get back, we got plenty more sports coming your way. My gosh, as you know, y'all, 3 hours of wall-to-wall sports right here on IE Sports Radio. This is me, your boy Larry B, bringing it to you as always, doing what we do here, giving you sports that you love, and great stories like Mr. Ash Gibbs right here. So, anyway, y'all, with that said, hang tight. When we get back, we're going to be right back in to more action-packed sports right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. We'll be right back after this.
Hey, all my NBA college basketball fans out there, tired of hearing about just the dramatic stuff in the basketball world, tired of hearing about what such and such reward tonight, and not about the game? Hey, leave all of that alone. Because on Wednesday night, I got this show called Fast Break with Phil Jones here on the IE Sports Radio. And all we talk about is straight basketball, from where it comes down to the NBA, the NCAA, and even the WNBA. I don't discriminate. I give all my NBA, my basketball, whatever you want with sports, to the slam dunks, to the three-pointers, to the teardrops, to the game winners. I'm there. I'm speaking about it. I have a debate. I have my panel. I got a squad that rolls in. And we're going to be talking mad sports. We're going to be talking about the Lakers. We're going to be talking about even the Brooklyn Nets.
Ain't nobody talking about who's the top team out there in the NBA. So, tired all the drama, tired all the... What did he wear today? What kind of shoes he had? Forget all that. Just come over. Listen to Fast Break with Phil Jones here on IE Sports Radio every Wednesday night at 8 Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific time, y'all. So, yo, tune in.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Vince Wright, the sports governor from the great state of Minnesota, and I want to thank you for listening to Sports Done Right. Make sure you're checking us out on all of our platforms, whether it's Spreaker.com, XSquadAffiliates.com. We're also heard on the Stewart Media and Entertainment Network, so keep it tuned here. More great things coming from Sports Done Right.
Here comes the pitch. And it comes in wide.
On the BS3 Sports Show.
Welcome to the BS3 Sports Podcast. We hope your experience with us is amazing. Sports talk, comedy, social issues, and more. BS3 is the best source.
Can you dig it?
Attention, all sports fans! If you're someone who wakes up each morning with lists of sporting events to go along with your to-do list for the day, then you just might be a diehard. The world of sports is as vast as the ocean is deep, including the major leagues, the minor leagues, the college, and everything in between. This is me, your boy Larry B of IE Sports Radio, welcoming you to join me every Monday evening at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern on The Defining Moment, a show that focuses on what really matters in the sports world, sports themselves, and nothing outside of them. Once again, tune in for The Defining Moment with me, your boy Larry B, every Monday evening at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern on IE Sports Radio, right here on Spreaker.com. We'll see you there.
Yes, we are. Maybe not 4 o'clock anymore on Mondays, but I've really got to redo that drop. But, yep, here we are, live and in color every week, bringing it to you. Getting better at sticking to a regular schedule this week, but how about Mr. Ash Gibbs? I mean, can we get an applause for that man? I hope all of you enjoyed that interview. It was awesome. Recording it yesterday, and Ash is a great guy, man. Mr. Gibbs, I thank you so much for being a part of the show. What a warming story. Big shout out to the St. Louis Blues and giving him tickets, and all the people, the former players and everybody who made it a big deal for him to get out there, well, to, for the tickets and everything, and for his daughter to skate around on the ice with the Blues and the pregame ceremonies. Just what a special moment. And that's just awesome. Class organization the St. Louis Blues are, and I'm so happy for you and your daughter, Mr. Ash. So, with that said, we have less than 10 minutes to go. So, yeah, sometimes the field gets kind of pushed around in different ways. But, okay, so real quick and dirty, we're just going to jump over a few things. I'll be making a YouTube video pretty soon about Tyson Fury. So, Tyson Fury and Tom Schwartz did fight this past weekend. Fury, I believe, got it done from what I understand. I didn't get a chance to watch it, but apparently here, according to the ESPN Sports Wrap, I'm getting all my sources from, where I get all my sources from for pretty much all of my sports. Fury and Wilder looking to be a pretty big rematch here, so that sounds great. I have a lot to say about the heavyweight division, featuring Ortiz, King Kong, of course, Ruiz, the new champion, first ever Latino Mexican-American champion. How awesome is that? Of course, Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua, and Deontay Wilder. Even Parker, actually. I got to bring him in for a little bit. But I'll be making a YouTube video soon, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, so boxing, here we go. Looks like Wilder and Fury might be a good one coming up here. But anyway, so with that said, coming up, we got the French Grand Prix in Formula 1 this weekend coming on up here. So really excited for that one. Mercedes is running away with the championship. As we know, it's probably not going to stop anytime soon. Ferrari just kind of fell apart, and that's all there is to it. Road America is coming up this weekend. in IndyCar, defending champion Joseph Newgarden looks to do it again. He's having quite the great season, and looking forward to. He's leading the points right now by 25. He's leading the points by 25 points. So let's see if we can get another one done there. He won last year there, so good stuff there for him. Also, now on to some NASCAR. Looks like we got another road course in the works. We got one of my favorite places, Sonoma Raceway, up in Sonoma, in the Napa Valley of. Up in Napa Valley of California, so super excited for that coming up this weekend. I think over on USRN, Mr. Seth Eves and Mr. Matt Owens are going to have the call for that one. Don't know if Mr. Dale Kinsey Jr. is going to join them or not, but should be a good one there. And then, of course, in the NHRA, we have the Summit Racing Nats coming up this weekend, so congratulations there. I mean, sorry, I was thinking of IMSA, I don't know why. But we got IMSA, of course, coming up, doing it. I mean, seriously, doing it. It's going to be such a great race for the NHRA, so I'm like doing a million things at once. But going on over to IMSA in the 24 Hours of Le Mans, which was last weekend, or last past weekend, there was a few congrats here. So let's go and take a look here at the congrats, courtesy of IMSA, at IMSA on NASCAR. So it looks like we have here some champions to crown. So looks like Ben, I guess it says Ben here. So Keating Car Guy. So I don't know, know his first name, but apparently it was a victory there. Looks like Jerome Bleakmullen. We also had Felipe Fraga, and of course, this is all of the, and then Ford, of course, I guess, getting it done. So, congratulations to them. It said, the regulars, says IMSA regulars, so it looks like Keating Car Guy, Jay Bleakmullen, and Felipe Fraga win Le Mans 24. And number 85 wins Racing Ford GT, so it looks like this might have been the GTD series, but yeah, I forgot. Don't know everybody who won it. I know it's kind of short notice too. It's kind of like I want to get everything together, but you'll hear plenty more about that on the Extra Mile coming up this week with Mr. Dale Kinsey Jr., Miss Lita Camello, Miss Caitlin Seam, and Mr. Michael Ward. So that's all coming up for you this week. Don't have anything on the bikes, but of course you can catch Mr. Matt White. I think it was I forgot what it was this week in MotoGP. And I don't know if British Superbike or World Superbike ran this week. It was kind of a hectic weekend. But, of course, catch all that tomorrow on Two Wheels Wednesday with Mr. Matt White. Also, coming up here, let's see, what were we going to get into for today? Oh, you know what? Well, got a few more minutes here. We got less than a little bit over 5 minutes. So, let's take a look at the WNBA coming up. Mystics and Sparks today. Should be quite the game there. Right now, leading the top two of the, the top two of the West and the East is going to get to those Eastern right now. Connecticut's looking pretty darn good at 8-1, and also we have Chicago at 4-2. In the West, we have Las Vegas at 4-3. I think it's their first year being a franchise, so pretty cool there. And then my LA Sparks at 4-3. So there's a little bit of WNBA coming your way coming up. So with that said, let's see if we got any got to cross the T's and dot the I's. Like I said, under 5 minutes to get through. So we got through pretty much everything there. And of course, like I said, I wish I could have talked lots more about the FIFA Women's World Cup. But as we know right now, let's take a quick look here at what it's looking like. And then, of course, we'll get to Copa America and the Gold Cup next week. But as of right now, the Women's World Cup, we are looking like this. Quarterfinals are coming up on the 27th, so coming up next week. As of today, we actually have some matches underway. Italy and Brazil just started, as well as Jamaica and Australia. So there should be some good matchups there. And yeah, I mean, it's been quite the ride for a lot of these teams. We'll get the knockout stages for you and everything coming up. The round of 16. Let's see. As of right now, if we were to stand how it is right now, Germany will play third place of Group A, C, or D. Norway is playing the second or 2C. We have first D playing third place Group B, E, or F. France playing third place of Group C, D, and E. And Spain is playing Group 1F, is playing one of Group F, or the first seed of Group F. And then we have the second seed of F playing the second seed of E. And then the first seed of C playing the third place group of A, B, or F. And then first place E taking on second place D. So is that a whole bunch of craziness there? Yes, but the teams that are for sure through right now are Germany, Norway, France, and Spain. So congratulations to those teams right there for getting it done. Getting on over to the next round. So congratulations to them. USA just going at it. Such an awesome game last week. USA defeating Thailand 13-0. Talk about a crazy game that was, and just what an incredible game for them. Alex Morgan tying the most goals ever scored, I think, in the Women's World Cup by a single player, or in the first round of the Women's World Cup. I forgot what that was. But anyway, she did her thing. Congratulations to her, and of course that tough team of the USA. And then a quick little jump on over to Copa America. I'm just going to recap the games this past week. So on Friday, Brazil defeated Bolivia 3-0. They're hosting the tournament. On Saturday, Venezuela and Peru 0-0. In Group A, so that's a little bit of Group A. In Group B, Colombia beat Argentina 2-0. And then also in Group B on Sunday, Paraguay and Qatar. I haven't seen them in there, but yeah, kind of neat. I thought it was only South America, the Consin Bowl or whatever it's called. But yeah, okay, that's cool. They brought them in. Also Japan, so two teams that aren't in South America, but it's cool they brought them over. So it's awesome to see them compete. Paraguay and Qatar 2-2, and then in Group C, Uruguay and Ecuador 4-0. Uruguay defeats Ecuador 4-0. Then on to yesterday, Chile defeats Japan 4-0. Of course, Chile won the Copa America like 2 times, I think, a couple years back. So see if they can do it again. And then yeah, plenty to come today. We will have some action coming up. Brazil taking on Venezuela 5:30 p.m. Pacific time. 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, and Bolivia taking on Peru at 2:30 p.m. Pacific Time, 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time. So that's coming up today. It looks like they're going to both be on ESPN Plus, courtesy of the ESPN Score Center app. And then, of course, in the Gold Cup this past week, we have here on Saturday, Mexico defeating Cuba. Let me go ahead and say that. Mexico defeating Cuba 4-0. Canada defeating Martinique 4-0, Group A. On the Sunday, we had Haiti defeating Bermuda 2-1 in Group B, and Costa Rica defeating Nicaragua 4-0 in Group B. On to Monday, El Salvador will beat Curaçao 4-0, and Jamaica will defeat Honduras 3-2 in Group C. And then today, 7 p.m. Pacific Time, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, United States takes on Guyana, I believe is how you pronounce that, and Panama takes on Trinidad and Tobago at 4:30 p.m. Pacific Time, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. So there you have it, y'all, and believe it or not, we are out of time. So you know what it means, y'all. Cue the music, because we're out of here, y'all. So much packed into one show, but hey, I'm glad we got through it. Next week, we'll be back on Monday, ready to do this thing. Super excited for what's to come in the coming months. Women's World Cup, of course, FIFA Women's World Cup will be concluding. We get into the knockout stage. I have plenty more in sports. So anyway, keep it locked here, y'all. You can follow us all as a whole. Social media, of course, at IE Sports Radio. You can follow me, your boy Larry, at THE_LB53 on Twitter. And there you go, y'all. I will see you next week. Until then, take care. And as always, God bless.